Okay, welcome back to the greatest gaming podcast in the world. No randos. Please subscribe. Today's investigation was a result of a podcast gone wrong after years of lies, abuse, and scrutiny catches up to the leader and his admins. Obviously, we're talking about 1G here. You could call it a setup, you could call it a cover up. Regardless, we'll be taking a look at the other side of the story as ex members come on and speak out against the mistreatment and trauma that they experienced. But before we dive into everything, one thing needs to be made clear. The accounts, the screenshots, and testimonies featured in this investigation represent the lived experiences and stories shared by members of the community. It's only fair for them to be heard. While they remain allegations, we examined the patterns of behavior which led to our decision to change the direction of the podcast since we were supposed to originally have him on. The information that we encountered definitely complicated things, and we tried to make the best of it essentially. So, either way, there's a lot to uncover here. So stick around till the very end, and we'll see how all the pieces fit. Let's get to it. So now we're going to be talking with guests to hear what they have to say. Um, this is the discussion part. So joining me now is Jay, and all the way from PlayStation, the famous Llama. Welcome, everyone. How's it going?
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Obviously, both of you go way back with 1G, and you have a lot of info to talk about. I'd like to kind of get to know more about both of you first, just hearing out your stories and the roles you served within 1G's community.
Yeah. So I joined 1G, One Gamers. Gosh, I can't remember when. He gave me the staff role very quickly. I was like 7 days new into that server,
Oh,
and
wow.
I was just being helpful. He had his staff team reach out to me and ask me to open a ticket. He basically just for now said, "Do you want staff?" And at first, I was kind of iffy about it because it's not really typically something I would generally like to do. But I decided to give it a shot. It really wasn't the experience that you think it would be. It's not something where you think, oh, we're all going to get along. This is going to be great. No, it
Hmm.
was more felt like you were trapped.
But like, what was responsible for your promotion? Is really like your resourcefulness. You were just being helpful and nice, and then they just rewarded you within the week, or is that common?
No, because they have like a application and you have to be there for at least like 3 or 4 months
Okay.
before you can even get into staff, which is really odd because I was given it very quickly within
Hmm.
1 week.
Okay. Okay. So you were like an exception compared to the other staff members.
Yeah.
Very rare. Okay. Cool. Cool. And Llama, what about you? Can you tell us more about yourself?
Yeah, so I played Red Dead back in 2019. I was on with a group of friends. We were really close, playing the game quite often. And then I came off of it and had a couple of years break. And then I found like Red Dead videos on TikTok. And then I got a Discord account. I hadn't had Discord before then. And then I can't remember exactly when I got into One Gamers. I think it was roughly maybe the middle of last year.
Hmm.
And again, like Jay, I got a staff role quite quickly. But like he didn't even ask me. Like I was just given it. So I was in the server for not a big amount of time. I was friendly with G. We spoke. He'd asked questions, where I was from, my age, this and that. And yeah, I just randomly got staff one day. So I'd messaged him to thank him for that. Um, Again, I wasn't put into a ticket to ask if I wanted to be staff or anything.
Hmm.
So it just kind of went from there. Um,
And
Yeah.
they just found that you were just qualified. You were the right person for the job.
Yeah, I
Or
guess
you?
so.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. I
Mhm.
guess yeah. Obviously, I'm a friendly person,
Okay.
so I don't know if that helped it or what, but
We got to give credit where credit is due here. Part of the reason why, you know, I'm even doing this investigation is because of the video y'all put me on. That was released a couple of weeks back, and on I think it was on Llama's channel, the one that did
mhm,
really well. And I think Jay, you were definitely involved in helping with the information of that video and the screenshots
mhm,
and
Yes.
whatnot, right?
yeah,
Yes.
So so yeah, that video brought a lot of awareness. It brought awareness to me and also to the community about the whole 1G situation. It isn't all sunshine and rainbows, obviously, like they make it out to seem. Um, but a lot of people started to come forward after that with information that is pretty concerning to say the least. And
mhm,
I mean, we went through different like phases of like what we're gonna do with the podcast. Even 1G wanted to come on at some point, and it turned into a whole mess. But
yeah,
it was really that video that started everything, and it's honestly amazing to see how many people could be like helped in the sense of like bringing awareness. So
yeah,
so yeah, like once that happened, things definitely kicked off, and we decided to all get together and collaborate on this investigation. So I really appreciate you both of y'all stepping forward with that. Can we talk about Wunji's background a bit more, because I don't really know too much about him besides like what I've seen on the internet and the few times I've spoken with him. But like you know what is he famous for, and like how did he start, and like where is he at now?
So for as far as I know, maybe Llama might know more because G and I never really spoke as much,
Hmm.
but from what I gathered, he is from the UK. He owns
mhm,
his own shop. I don't know what his race is, but he basically doesn't tell us. But
mhm,
as far as I'm gathered, everybody else seems to think that he is Indian due to how he sounds
Hmm.
and from what he looks like too, which I
mhm,
was able to get a glimpse of what he looked like, not like he never sent me a photo, but just from somebody sharing it.
Hmm.
He is mainly known for GTA because he does a whole lot of glitch videos and all that and
Hmm.
duping cars, car shows, whatever GTA is, you know. I played a little bit, but I don't play too much of GTA.
Hmm.
So he's also is known for his community and trail rides that he never makes a trail ride though. It's
mhm.
always his staff members who make the trail ride.
Hmm.
So I can't really say that he's known for making trail rides because that would be false.
And so you mentioned that he's big in GTA. He's also pretty big on RDR, like we've seen, and he's on every platform almost. Like he's on PC,
Yes.
he's on
Yeah,
Xbox and PlayStation, which is crazy.
yeah,
This is pretty this is pretty rare to see for a content creator to be on like multiple platforms. But it just goes to show you, you know, there's a reason why he got big. Because he appeals to everywhere, and he, you know, his reach is everywhere. So it's just something to take into consideration when you know, dealing with him. He's associated with many players, and like you said, he started glitching. He started getting big through glitches. He told me that too. He also said that he was the first person to duplicate a wagon or something like that in RDR.
mm.
There's that too. Would you say that he's bigger on GTA or Red Dead?
Probably GTA, I would say. You know, he does live streams and things on TikTok, playing GTA. You don't really see very much from Red Dead. He would join the odd trail ride, you know, when I was staff. If I was hosting a trail ride,
Hmm.
he would sometimes come in and cause nothing but trouble, to be fair.
Okay.
Not follow his own rules, hog tying players and running in front of the host, and yeah, just being like a nuisance, basically. But yeah, I would say that he was more on GTA than Red Dead.
Okay. And also, GTA is still popping. It's riding off of the GTA 6 hype now too. And while Red Dead, continues to starve. But when I actually met him, trail rides were huge. They were bringing in huge amount of people, and I guess it was like usually more on the PlayStation side than the Xbox. But he was doing both.
Yeah.
So I found that pretty crazy, and I had no idea what was going on. I don't know why I thought it was a normal community, because it's like impossible to have a normal community at that size.
Yeah.
And how do you get into this community? Like, what is it like being there, and like how difficult is it to actually be accepted?
It's not that hard at first if you just message him and be like, hey, I want to join your server. He will give you the link to his server. But to get into the actual server, you have to go through all these bot checks where they like basically want to make sure that you're not using a VPN, a alt account, or anything like that.
You're not allowed to
Which
use
is
a VPN?
no, he's paranoid. In other words, um, given that what Llama said that he's mainly on GTA, there's a very crucial piece that he once admitted and why he's on GTA more than he is on Red Dead, and that's because he says that he will get jumped. So that's also why he has his server on like a some type of lockdown. Like it's pretty easy as long as you're not using a VPN or using a alt account or
You're
anything
not
like
allowed
that.
no alts, no VPNs.
Nope.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And also, you have to have your like roles done pretty soon. So like what console you play, what games you play. I don't know. Yeah, they're quite big on getting the roles quite quickly. Like
okay.
as soon as you enter the Discord, you have to get them like straight away.
Mhm.
Which I kind of get because like you don't really see the chats until you pick the roles. But yeah, you don't even get a second to breathe before they're like, oh, do this and do that.
Okay, okay, yeah.
Exactly. I
Mm-hmm.
remember arguing with them about that, saying like, can we at least give them 5 minutes to figure it
Yeah.
out before we
Yep.
start jumping down their throats about it? And no, like some of you guys did agree with me, but
Mm-hmm.
G was not all up for that. He was like, no, they have to know, they don't know what they're doing.
Mhm. So it's very, they're very like organized and strict and
Yeah.
structured, right? Like,
Yeah.
I think you described it as like a prison or something, Jay, at some point.
Literally. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay,
It's
okay.
also open to under 18s as well.
Mm,
So there's not like an age restriction on it either.
yeah, that,
So a kid could be in there, 13-year olds could be in
Mm-hmm.
there if they wanted to.
Yeah.
yeah, that's gonna complicate things for.
Mm-hmm.
And then another huge aspect that I wanted to talk about is like a lot of things that were hidden behind the scenes of the community. Um, People didn't really see, like making up rules on the spot. Remember, we talked about that, or the
Mm-hmm.
favoritism, or I mean, I know y'all didn't really flirt to move up in the community, but it's like I think that there were things like that happening at some point. It's usually like the flirts that move up fast. Is that
Oh,
possible?
definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's a bit lame for that to happen because we're just gamers. We're not here to date or anything. But it's just that this is a very common thing to happen in tons of communities and crews. So it's like
Mm-hmm.
flirting prevails or something. Does anybody have any comments about that?
I once had a conversation with G. I was actually really busy that day. I was hanging out with a friend at an amusement park, and G was like, call me, call me, call me. So I was like, okay. So I asked him, it was about head admin, because he gave one of our mutual friends head admin, and we all didn't realize that was going to happen. Like, we heard nothing, it was radio silences, and suddenly head admin. And my argument was there were a lot more people in there that were very active, doing everything, going
Mm-hmm.
above and beyond. And I think they would have made perfect match to be a new head admin. But it's the fact that G didn't even say anything about it. So over the call, I was talking to G about it, and he said only people that are close to me and I truly trust can get head admin. So I was like, okay. And then he goes, but if you really want head admin, you have to show me that you know how to make a server. And that right there caught my attention because it's like contradicting. At first,
Mm.
it's only people he trusts, and now it's if you want to get head admin, you have to show me that you can build your own server and create a community yourself.
So he's making up rules on the spot out of convenience.
Yes, and I was like talking back and forth about him about it, and he just kept like switching things up, and it's just not making any sense. But again, I was really busy that day, so I didn't bother to pressure or press against him about it because I just wanted to get off the phone, honestly.
Hmm.
Um, but it's that type of thing, and then it came known to my attention that he was going to give somebody else head admin, and this somebody else was not active at all, like to the point of where she should have been kicked off from the staff team because if you're not active, the rule is you will be kicked out of staff team. But due to her not being active at all and not saying anything about why, he just let her stay as staff. And then he admitted to me that he was teaching her how to build her own server and how to do certain things on Discord. And then once she gets the understanding of it, he's going to make her head admin. And that happened. That exactly is what happened. She ended up getting head admin. When the head admins came up to me and said the reason why that he gave it to her was because he has a crush on her. And he has been asking around how does he ask a girl out and how does he make a girl like him.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So that inactive girl was because he had a crush on her.
They're getting closer. Um, Hopefully she was of age or whatnot. But as soon as you get into this, like, I'm looking for my RDR queen or my gaming queen or whatever, then
Mm-hmm.
it starts to become a huge conflict of interest, and I'm sure it must have complicated things a bunch because. Like he's never really locked in anybody in the com, right? He never like dated anybody. Never.
That
I'm
I
assuming.
know. And not that I know of. Going along with making up rules on spot, there has been other times. I know Llama, didn't you leave at least once and then
Mm-hmm.
came back? Yeah, so Llama left at least once and she came back and she was immediately given back her role. I think she was a moderator or admin at that time, and I was already an admin by then. And the one time that I left because I was tired of G not taking me seriously and ignoring how I felt. Just he didn't care about how I felt, how uncomfortable
Mm-hmm.
I was. So I left. And I had at least a few staff members reach out to me and ask me to join back. So I put thought into it and I was like, you know what, for them, I will.
Hmm.
This was never a rule until I joined back. As soon as I joined back, G made me be a staff member. He didn't give me back my admin role. And I was like, what is this all about? And he says, well, from now on, whatever you guys leave, you guys are only going to get back staff role. You guys are not getting your original roles back.
So he's like punishing
And
you for
yeah,
Yeah.
he
coming back.
was punishing me. And I was, and like this happened when I left. Like he's never done this to anybody else. And we had multiple people leave and come back multiple
Mm-hmm.
times.
Okay, wow.
More than
Okay, so even after that rule was introduced, it was just catered to you.
it felt like that, but all I know is that we definitely had people leave and come back and get the roles back. And
Mm-hmm.
then the time when I left is when he decided to place that role, which that rule wasn't there until I was already added back and given staff. Like this is completely unfair. Like how are you gonna do that to me when we had other people in the staff chat leave multiple times on you?
I just want to add as well that Jay was a really good and active admin. Like she was really helpful in the server. Hosting trail rides, helping new members. She was, always there when you needed her. Even like staff. If you ever had a problem or that, I remember when I was did help. You know, I knew that I could go and speak to Jay. You know, she was a good member of the Discord, and I don't know why Jay's attitude towards her was like that. He never tried to understand why people were leaving. Do you know what I mean? Like, as Jay said, she felt uncomfortable and he wasn't paying attention to her feelings. You know, the owner of of the server,
Mm-hmm.
um, you know, he didn't care about that. He just punished her when she came back instead of messaging her and trying to work it out. You know, trying to make it better. He just punished.
Okay. So, yeah, I've heard a couple of people say this. He pretends to take interest at
Oh yeah.
times. Like
Mm-hmm.
it
Mhm.
happens pretty often where he might appear charismatic and might be excited, but
Mm-hmm.
it's only like a an
Like a
illusion or
mask.
whatever. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
'Cause some people have.
Even like the Discord members, like he doesn't care about the members. He cares about the number. That's
Mhm.
all he's bothered about. He's bothered about how big he can grow that Discord.
Okay.
That yeah, that's the bottom
Yeah.
line.
Like if we lose 5 people in the Discord,
Mm-hmm.
he would be like, guys, we just lost 5 people. We need to start pushing out, making videos and start bringing in
Mm-hmm.
people.
Okay.
And it's
Okay.
like, we only lost 5 people. Why is that a big deal?
He's
Mm-hmm.
running it like a company, like a business almost. It's
Yeah,
like profits
yeah.
are down. We need to get more
Mm-hmm.
clients or something. So like other people have also said that he's often manipulative and brainwashing.
So basically, he will tell you his side of the story, which is all lies.
Mm-hmm.
And a really good example is his staff team, his new current staff team. There has been people that have brought the situation to their attention, and
Hmm.
his staff team would say, "Well, don't pick a side until you know two sides." And I recall there was a screenshot of somebody that said, "Did you ask the other people what happened?" And they would say, "We don't need to know what happened. We already heard everything,"
Oh God.
which is basically from whatever G said, which is brainwashing, honestly.
Yeah,
Um,
because I mean, no staff member, current staff member from G's team had even tried to reach out and ask questions, you know, or try and get my side of the story. I know obviously the videos were posted and there was a lot there, but you know, none of them tried to reach out. And you know, they said, "Oh, we have both sides of the stories. You know,
mhm,
I don't need to speak to anybody else." When that's not true, they've heard G's side. You know, and that's it.
yeah, and like I don't know, it kind of comes off as disingenuous in the sense of like they don't necessarily value who you are. You're more like a number that needs to fall in order, right?
Hmm.
It almost looks like you need to be there when we need you, but it's like
Hmm.
when you need us to have your back, it's not happening, you know.
Yeah, so as soon as somebody, like, let's say Llama were to say, okay, guys, it's like 10 p.m. for me, I'm going to bed,
Hmm.
G would automatically start pinging her nonstop in the chat
Hmm.
and be like, hey, Llama, hey, Llama, hey, Llama, I got a question, I got a question.
Hmm.
And as soon as you say, what is it, G? He'd be like, you gotta let me think about it. And then
The
if you say,
trolling or
okay,
what does that mean?
That would happen often, by the way.
yeah,
Just
this happened almost every night.
Just never had
hmm
anything to say. He was just like trying to get a
no,
reaction out of you.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, just to keep us awake longer from the time that we were
What?
sleeping.
Do
Yeah,
you?
and if we would say, gee, I gotta go to bed, I gotta get up early in the morning, that didn't, like, that flew past his head. He did not care about that.
Hmm.
Do you think it's because he was infatuated with y'all, or was he just like too comfortable with you, or I don't like what would drive someone to like do that kind of stuff? Like, why would you keep someone up when they're sleeping?
Um, I don't know exactly why he did it. I think part of it is him being bored, I guess. I
Hmm.
don't know. I don't have the exact reasons as to why he did it. It's just he did that almost every night to majority of his staff. Now, I didn't get it as bad as they did, and I believe at that point G just didn't really care about me, so I was more of the ignored.
Mm-hmm.
He basically ignored me and he paid so much attention to everybody else, which goes back hand in hand into him not caring about whenever I bring up about how so and so made me uncomfortable and I feel like that they shouldn't be in the server and all that. Like
Okay.
it just goes hand in hand. So I was basically more ignored and treated indifferently.
Like you said, you were more of like a lab rat. You were there when he needed you, right?
Yes, he
So,
used me when he needed me, but after
Yeah.
that, he would just disregard me.
and then there's also the conversation of, you know, possessiveness and controlling, and this is what I see with everyone in that community is like they're very, you know, controlling, and then he gets kind of like too comfortable around y'all.
I created my own server. Now, this isn't a public server for people to join. This is a friends only server. So only like my friends. I only invited my friends into it. But it got around and G found out about it. And G kept telling me like he's mad at me and that he doesn't like that I made a server. Technically making it sound like I'm not allowed to have that is what he was getting at.
Okay.
And I told him multiple times, I said, it's a server for my friends only. I don't even understand what's so wrong about that. It's not like I'm pulling people from your server. It's not like I'm pulling people through online to come join. No, it's simply for one game only, and that's it. He didn't only have Red Dead and GTA, he had other games listed on there in a chat for each of them.
Mhm.
Mhm.
But he would say, like, what's the point of having that chat if you're just gonna play with your friends and talk to them inside your own group chat? Like, he made it sound like it was such a bad thing that I had to delete it.
We were like having discussions in the staff chat, just friendly chats. He would get annoyed and like take away the like emoji privileges to stop us sending in things and basically talking and like gifts and stuff as well. He would take that permission away so we couldn't have fun basically, and he would like tell us to go to general chat instead to make it look like the server was active. So instead of us chatting in staff chat, he wanted us to go into the general chat. But I was in another friend's server, which I had been in for a very long time. I think I was actually in there before I was in One Gamers. And he found out about that and he was pissed and he basically told me to pick a side. So I couldn't be in both servers. I either had to be in One Gamers or that one. There was no in between.
Yeah.
Um, and I was like, how can you basically force me to pick between my friends and that? Like, it just wasn't fair. I didn't see the problem with being in both servers. You can be in whatever you want to be. It's my choice. But he was trying to like force me to pick a side. Also trying to say that like my friends were like manipulating me, and he also said that if he was to ever make an announcement, he would ruin my name. He also said at one point, when you finally realise what's going on, you'll notice that nobody is around you anymore.
Hmm.
Um,
Like that is actually what his words that he said to me. So, like my life doesn't revolve around Discord and Red Dead. I have a family. I have friends outside of
Yeah,
this.
exactly. But like, it just really looks like he demands exclusivity, and it's like, well, if you want to have your friends, you got to bring them into the community, and if they don't
Yeah.
want to be part of that community, not that anybody has a gun to your head, but if they don't want to,
Mhm.
he'll take it as an insult, and then like you're considered, you know, against him or whatever. That's kind of like the
Mhm.
possessiveness, right? And then they just label you. You know, if you don't want to be part of the club, you're against us. And then some people are just like
Mhm.
neutral. Some people don't want to be involved, I guess, or
Mhm.
whatnot, right? So that kind of goes back to like the jumping to conclusions and the favoritism, and it's like and
Mhm.
being possessive, all sorts of stuff. And I just find that he's just generally dismissive when he doesn't get his way or when he doesn't like see things eye to eye or whatnot. It kind of shows, I don't
Yeah.
know. It kind of like
yeah,
And
looks
like,
immature a bit.
when he would go live on TikTok to play GTA, he would want like all of us there in the server to like deal with members coming in to join him, and half of us didn't even play GTA. Half of us didn't even know much about the game. But like he treated it like it was a paid job. Do you know what I mean? Like he
Yeah.
was paying us to be there, which absolutely was not the case. Do you know what I mean?
No.
That wasn't the case. But yeah, every time he would go live on an evening, which is roughly, around dinner time in the UK. A lot of the staff were busy at the time, but he basically said, like, you just have to be here, you just have to help these people and do whatever. And so many people would come flooding in, asking so many questions, and barely any of us were able to answer them because we don't play the game.
Hmm.
So, yeah.
He mainly, I was at work during every single time, every single stream that he did. I was always whenever I was at work. So I couldn't even help to begin with. And again, I don't normally play GTA. I know like a little bit, but not too much about GTA to even be able to help everybody. So I was barely there. Like during the times that I go on break, I will see where he said, you guys have to be in here helping. We're getting more people. We're getting more people joining. You guys have to be in there. And it's just like the same repeated words. Um, Another example of him being controlling, which goes back similar to what Lama was saying, is we both have a mutual friend, and I consider her as a close friend. And she wasn't aware of what was going on until she came back, and she like looked through, she read everything, and she caught herself up, and then she like started speaking into the chat, and they were basically telling her that she had to pick them or me, like literally me,
Mhm.
not just a server or anything. They were basically saying you either have to pick your friend Jay or you have to pick us, type thing. And what she was not okay with, and she said like she's not doing any of that. She's not going to
Pick
be dealing
sides.
with it. Yeah, so she left on her own because she knew that she wasn't going to get anywhere with them, no matter how hard she tried. And I do have screenshots of that
Okay.
because she was sending them to us while actively speaking to them. But it's just stuff like that that is controlling and very unfair to everybody,
Mhm.
which I find kind of hilarious because not only did that happen, but we had other people in there. Like this one other girl who she actually had a crush on and gave head admin to. She was in a different server with me and a different friend, and some of us joined her server. Um, he didn't care. He didn't care that she was in there, which goes back to favoritism, actually.
Yeah.
So, if you were favorited by him, he really didn't care if you were in different servers, if you made your own server, or who you're friends with. It's
Mhm.
more so depends on who you are type thing.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So, I guess it goes back and forth against like, are you favorited by him? Because if you are, you're gonna have a less experience, but you're gonna deal with him
A lot more.
basically trying to ask you out type thing.
Hmm.
But
Mhm.
if you're not liked by him or if he doesn't really care about you, then you're gonna feel like that you're in prison. Like you can't do anything, you can't breathe. If you
Mhm.
breathe the wrong way, he might as well just ban you for just breathing differently.
And also another thing to add is I got told by a couple of people that this is like you're way more likely to be favorited if you're a female. And a lot of guys get like treated like, bots or normies or whatever.
Mhm.
But it's like something that they don't um like to see is you asking questions or thinking for yourself, right? They want you obedient and like if you start to question them, they'll think that you're turning on them and whatever. That's what I saw a lot of too,
Yes.
especially concerning your video. I mean, people have a right to ask questions about the content they see online, and as soon as you bring
Mhm.
up that video, so many people get in trouble in those chats. It's like
Yeah.
ridiculous. Like what are we
Yeah.
like like fascist government, imperialist government or something that we can't, we're oppressed or something. I don't understand how that works.
So yeah, as soon as you bring up anything like, hey, I saw this video on TikTok, immediately almost half of the staff would jump on you and being like, you should open a ticket, or they would start deleting whatever you said, or they'll just ban you, straight up ban you, like they'll even give you a chance. So I guess it really depends because it's like everyone has like similar experiences, whether that's them jumping on you, telling you to just open up a ticket and deleting your messages, or to straight ban with no word to it,
Okay.
which I find quite interesting, because you would think if they really didn't have anything to hide, they would actually openly talk about it and be like, well, that's not true, type thing, instead of covering it up. Going back on that, when I first joined staff, I did deep digging in his staff chat and I found some messages in there that he did not delete because G is really well known for deleting almost
Mm-hmm.
everything. He will like delete over 50 messages in one go. And this is like a well known thing. But he didn't delete these messages. But I came across these messages of basically people getting on G in the staff chat about him banning a guy. Now, at that time, I suppose G had a crush on a girl, and that girl was not interested in G. She was more interested in playing with this guy. So
Oh boy.
G decided to ban him, is what happened. And the reason why I know this was because I screenshotted the whole entire thing and I went to the source. I went to find somebody who was like a part of that. And I asked him, I said, can you please clarify? Because I kind of get an idea, but I just want to make sure that I know what exactly happened. And they were more than willing to tell me what happened. They said, oh, those screenshots. I said, yes, I found them inside Snapchat. I scrolled all the way up. I found them. And I just got to know what happened. Like, because again, like, it was already off, a little bit iffy. So, of course, I'm going to do my own digging.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay.
I never straight out told anybody immediately when I found it. I kind of kept it to myself just to be, on the safe side, on the low. But when things kept getting worse, I decided to bring this out to light to Llama and to our other friends who were also banned because I felt like it was a very important information that
Hmm.
they should know like, hey, this behavior has been happening before us.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. I bet. It's unfortunate for sure. Can you guys talk about, any sort of situation where people were set up, or I know Jay, you mentioned that he often passed the blame to you. I don't know if you felt the same way, Llama, if the same thing happened to you or whatnot. But like, can y'all talk about that a bit? Backstabbing friends and letting people take the fall and setups and stuff.
Oh yeah, definitely. I definitely do know when I was on that chat with him when I was like busy that one day, he said flat out to me, how do you know that your friends are even your friends? And at first, like, it took me to shock because it seemed like that he wanted me to turn against my friends. And then he goes on saying, because I know that you're inside that other um, community server. I know that you have your own server. I know this and that about you, which was kind of strange to me because I was like, I never spoke to G about any of these things, and only like my closest friends knew about these. So it kind of took me by surprise that he was trying to frame one of my best friends actually, who was head admin during that time. He basically made it seem like that she was telling him all these things to make him not like me, which I later did confront to her and spoke to her about it. And we cleared that up. Her and I both cleared it up. We're still best friends to this day. But yeah, that's a very clear example of him basically blaming my friend and trying to make me turn against her.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
While she was head admin, somebody in there who was a moderator, G didn't say anything. He just took away her moderator. And so my best friend was trying to figure out what happened, and basically G just decided to take it away from her. He just thought
Oh, I
that she
remember
didn't
that.
deserve it.
Mm-hmm.
And so she was like, that's not okay. You have to like talk to her first. You need to like, because she's really upset. And she was like, freaking out, thinking that she did something wrong, but she didn't understand why. So G basically tried to make my best friend take the blame for it, which was not okay. So my best friend came into the chat and said, just so you guys know, G took her moderation away. I don't know why. He won't say why,
Okay.
but he's trying to make me take the blame for it. But he was the one responsible for why she is no longer in the staff. And G got so mad at her about it. I don't even know what happened after that, but I just know that G was pissed off about it. And
Mm-hmm.
she told me later on in game chat, she's like, I'm not going to take a blame for something that he did and then not explain anything. Like she was crying about it. She didn't understand what she did. And I was like, yeah, don't take the blame for him because like that's not okay. But that's another sad example of him trying to make people take blame.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. I do remember it, and how upset she was, because it was just so random. There was no, chat about it before, or anything. It was just totally out of the blue. No reason for it. And the person that it happened to was, again, one of the nicest staff members in there. She was very kind, very helpful. There was no reason for it. So yeah, we were all quite shocked at it, and totally understand why she was upset. And then obviously G trying to put the blame onto someone else is just not okay.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
completely agree. It's unfortunate, and it's just like many bad decisions that are almost sociopathic, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
So just like reflecting back and getting to know him a bit more, I guess the reason why it was necessary to do this investigation is because you know people want to know, is he dangerous, and if so, how? What do you guys think?
Um, Llama.
Um, as we've said before, I think there's an obvious favouritism when it comes to, the staff and whatnot. There's been allegations made. There was allegations made way before my video, and they were shut down. I don't believe the video was kept on TikTok. I think that was maybe removed.
Wow.
Um, Obviously my videos are still up and they are still getting attention.
Hmm.
Um, I had obviously help getting them. Um, it's more of like just like the kind of flirty, creepy behaviour,
Yeah.
and him kind of justifying it by saying, "Oh, she was 18 plus," or you know, things like that. But like people felt uncomfortable. Like
Hmm.
people feel uncomfortable. That was the point of it. Doesn't matter how old they are. You still have to respect people and whatnot, and yeah, just not be creepy.
Yeah. And how do you explain the creepy behavior to the people that weren't 18 plus, right? Like you saw through certain screenshots. We're gonna get to that later. Like he might get a little too creepy
Hmm.
around females in particular, I'm assuming. So
Yeah,
yeah, be on the lookout for that, I guess. If you're a guy, you're way less likely to be targeted, I think.
yeah. I feel like he tries to like see how far he can push, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
So like obviously when I first started speaking to him, I did tell him that I was in a relationship and stuff. And he used to, he was saying, "Oh, have you ever met anybody from Red Dead, and I'd explained to him that I had a really close group of friends back in 2019, but unfortunately we weren't able to meet. And he was like, "Oh, meet me then."
Okay, so he's
It's
trying to
just
create
like,
doubt in your relationship, and he's trying to like win you over.
yeah, it's trying to see how far he can kind of push it and stuff. And yeah, like obviously, as I said, I was friends with G. I will never, deny that or say that I wasn't, because I was. But I seen it with other people as well. His behaviour around people, pinging them late at night, and yeah, just
Yeah.
just strange behaviours.
Um, like in all, throughout all the years, how many people do y'all think were affected by the problematic behavior of 1G and his admins?
Well, there is a big group of us. I didn't take count of how many of us.
Hmm.
I do know the person that I did talk to about the screenshots that I took. She said around 15 members of them left because of him.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like majority of the staff, I believe. So I would
Yeah.
say quite a few.
And that
Yeah.
was around April last year, Jay, wasn't it?
Yeah, so
Because he
that
also
happened.
claims that this has been going on for about 2 years, which is a lie. Um, as Jay's just said, the first group of staff that left was around April 2025, and then us, um, we were about December 2025. So he claims this has been going on for 2 years, and that's
Yeah,
not true.
so
Okay, it's even
they
longer.
left in April 15th, 2025.
Mhm.
And we were all banned in December 7th, 2025.
Mhm.
Okay, so goes back. It.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, this is part of their way of being dismissive, right? It's not a big deal. Barely anybody was affected. Just you own like
Mhm.
they'll probably gaslight you into thinking that you're the problem and that you're the only
Oh yeah.
person that's doing
Mhm.
this kind of stuff. Maybe like that's pissing them off or whatever.
Mhm.
And I assume that it's relatively easy to anger them, considering how much control they have and their expectations, right? Can y'all talk to me about the admins and how problematic they were?
So, one name that I definitely am going to mention, and I heard that she is no longer friends with G, but I don't buy that, to be honest. Mania. Um, she was very problematic. Right when she came back, she wasn't even an admin. She was like the co-owner or whatever you want to call them. Basically, G named them queens, and they are above head admins.
Mhm.
She was very problematic. She started arguments with staff members almost every single day. And she at one point banned somebody because they made a typo, and she immediately banned them without letting them have the chance to speak. But now they're buddy buddies. And he's friends with G. So he's still in there because he's like kissing up to G.
Okay.
But it's stuff like that, like just the tiniest things. Even if you disagree with her, she will like automatically start problematic problems with you, starting drama, and just banning people. That's basically what she's good at. If you're looking for somebody who can ban somebody under 1 point second, I mean, call her in because she'll just ban people. Another admin, the guy that she banned, his name is Gypsy. He is problematic. He is
Mhm.
the reason why things blew out of proportion with everybody and why most people got banned. And that's because he doesn't like me for some reason. I don't know what his problem is, but he never liked me. And basically, he convinced G and got into G's head. And G blames the whole entire situation on me and why everybody was banned over something small. So, yeah, Gypsy's not the type of guy who you think he is because he'll backstab. We
Mhm.
had somebody who's our mutual friend. She was really good friends with him, and he backstabbed her by telling G that she was talking shit about him, and G automatically banned her for that. And she's like, I don't understand. Why would you do this to me? And he's like, you deserved it. That type of snaky backstabbing.
Mhm.
That it felt like Dutch and Micah.
Yeah, he's just not a great person, really. He's messaged me a couple of times trying to start arguments and stuff, and trying to get reaction out of me. And he obviously seen the videos that I posted, and he got like butthurt because his name wasn't as like censored out. Um, and I was trying to tell him like he's obviously a part of One Gamers. Like, why should I have to censor his name out? Like, he wasn't one of the victims or whatever. And
He's one of
yeah,
the
he
top
was
dogs.
really
Isn't he like the running man for G?
yeah he's him and G. Yeah, they're the best of friends, really.
To add on to what Lama is saying, them being best friends, she's absolutely correct. Because he at one point said that he's going to meet up with G in person.
Mm.
Curious. So yeah, I mean, I don't really know the guy. You know that 1G tried to come on the podcast at some point. He was trying to get Gypsy on, but he said that Gypsy stayed far, far away from the podcast. And I'm like, I was kind of insulted because I was like, well, what's wrong? Like, why can't we just talk about stuff? This is before I knew all this stuff about him, obviously, but it's just like,
Mm-hmm.
the fact that I even DM'd him and I said, "Yo, you're a big part of the community, and you should show up and whatever." Didn't even bother answering me, and
Mm.
just straight up ghosted me. And it's like it kind of came off as like snobby, but then I started
Yeah.
thinking, I'm like, maybe he's just like, maybe his skeletons are way too big to hide. Maybe he's trying to, like, cover his own ass, and he's staying far, far away because he knows how badly he can get stung. That's kind of like where I started getting more suspicious about this community, because at least have the decency to respond or whatever. It's like, no, I'm like automatically an enemy or something, or I don't even know. But and then there was this other concerning screenshot that I gotta call them out on, because when I spoke to G, they don't do any of that booting stuff. They're trying to, they're clean. He says
Mm.
that they're legitimate and whatever. And then I see the screenshot by Lord Reds. He says, like I said, I will remain quiet from now on. I won't even join the stupid chats. So they're talking about like the minors in their group, and then like they pretend like they don't boot, but then there was some really concerning stuff, because you got kids in there too. And he
Mm-hmm.
says, so Lord Red said something like, I'll just make them all disappear. So like, what does that mean? What does making them disappear mean? Because obviously you're not gonna like start whacking these people, right? But then Gypsy responds by saying, "Be good. We all have magic tricks. We're not like mob.
Mm.
Remember." So this basically indirectly tells me that both of these peasants can boot.
Yeah.
Lord Red's telling them that they're gonna disappear, and then Gypsy's like, "Don't worry. Like we can boot them, but we're not like mob. Because mob is like a huge booting crew." So what else are you possibly referencing when you're talking about making people disappear? So I mean, I got to call them on that, because that's some dangerous behavior, especially when you
Yeah,
have
that's
minors in your
strange.
group and you're
Mm-hmm.
pretending like you're clean and you're pretending like you don't do any of that stuff. So that's really
Mm-hmm.
disingenuous and dishonest, and you're trying to cover up. So that was one thing that I was not impressed about, especially the way these people brag about booting. I mean, that's just corny if you're gonna hit off kids or whatever. So
Yeah.
Okay.
terrible
Um,
behavior.
to add on to that, just so you know, Gypsy was best friends with a mob member. Like
Mm.
absolute best friends. There is this mob member that used to be inside the community. And I had a big deal about it because I was uncomfortable. And I spoke about it multiple times. Lama, how many times have I spoke about how uncomfortable that mob person made me?
Yeah, quite often.
very
Yeah, he's a
often.
weirdo.
And
Understandably.
yeah, and they knew how to boot people. They knew how to lag switch and everything, because obviously part of mob. So Gypsy used to be really like best friends with that guy, and Gypsy would defend him no matter what, even if I gave out my reasoning, being like, "Well, they're bringing in drama every single day, almost inside the Xbox chat, or they have people going in there or opening tickets, complaining about them, and all that." And the way that that mob person spoke to me when I was just doing something that G asked me to do, I didn't take that so kindly. I didn't even get an apology from it.
Hmm.
And I listed out, I was like, these are the reasons why I'm uncomfortable. These are the reasons why I think this person should be banned from the community. And G would say, no, they're very helpful in the trail rides and all that type stuff. Why? Because he can boot. That's why. So I
Wow.
wouldn't be surprised if Gypsy knows how to boot or lag switch, because Gypsy was once best friends with that mob person. Now, to get further more into detail, this mob person is no longer inside their community, and they didn't bother to ban this person until after they've already banned me. Like a few days after they've already banned me
Hmm.
was when they finally decided to ban that. So the whole entire time while I was in there begging them to please do something or to let me do something, it was an indefinite no. It was an indefinite, we don't really care about how you feel about it. He's just helping by booting people who are causing trouble inside the trail rides. And then as soon as I'm no longer allowed to be in that server, it's suddenly they're like, we don't like this person anymore. We're gonna get rid of them.
Okay.
So yeah, if Gypsy ever tries to tell you that he wasn't friends with that guy, he's lying, because he was 100% best friends with that guy and he was always defending that guy.
Well, it's crazy because they, when I spoke to 1G, they literally pinned the mob affiliation on you guys, the, uh, your group and the Oasis group.
It's things like that. And when you said like try to pin it on us, yeah, they are. And honestly, as much as they can do that, none of us are really associating with mob. We don't really associate mob. And again, I was the one that spoke up about how uncomfortable and how unsafe it is to have somebody who can boot and
Hmm.
like lag switch inside of a community where there is kids and everybody else. But again, they completely ignored me, and the only reason why I they claim that they have dirt on this mob person, but if that is the truth, then how come they didn't do anything sooner when I was asking them,
That dirt
right?
has been out forever. It's just the way dirt works is you only use it when it's convenient for you, right? Like if you're
Yeah.
friends with him, then it's inconvenient for you to just like sever ties, right? And he had like some bad allegations. You know, the guy's a creep, and just like mob in general, they're like a wannabe cool kids club, and you know they have a superiority mentality because they cheat and it gives them confidence to like bully people. So when you bring anybody from mob into your community, you're definitely gonna cause a ruckus because you know they're spoiled children that think they can run the show and they don't listen to anybody.
And here's like another thing about G is that he's kind of lazy. We used to have a staff member in there, and she would post about how she would grief people that are new players and all that type thing. And so G didn't want to go talk to her. So he had me talk to her for him.
Hmm.
And the only reason why that mob guy reached out to me was because I was trying to talk to her, trying to reason with her about how, like, in staff, if she's going to post about that, it's linked to her staff name and everything, and how it makes it look bad, you know? Because, like, he's trying to make a clean community. And at that time, I was like, yeah, cool, you know. That mob person, well, she was friends with mob. at that time too. And she told Mob, and that's when Mob came into my DMs and started like not being nice to me. He was just, I still have like the screenshots of what he said to me, but I brought it up to their attention and they kind of just brushed it off. But again, lazy, because G didn't want to do the talking to her. He didn't want to talk to her about it.
He doesn't like
He
to
didn't.
address controversy. He's just there for like the smooth ride, the easy way out. That's what I understand.
Yes, yes. And so that's why he made me go and do it because he's like, Jay, go do this.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, fine.
Yeah, and it's definitely a weird trait to have when you have this like successful community and there's so much stuff being done. Uh, being lazy is a very bad trait to have, and um, I mean he's lazy in different ways, right? Like you said before. There was also you're giving people real work like video editing and posting and setting up events and whatever. These are like I would say these are like almost paid jobs. You know, video editors make like 50 to $100 an hour. You know, and then you have people that are uploading and whatnot. You know, and there's also the trail rides and the events that he doesn't attend half the time. Like, he doesn't organize as much as people think, and he like delegates most of his work to staff. That's what I hear, and he just says that he doesn't have the time, and he's got his full time job, and he can't handle all of this. Well, it's like if your goal is to grow, you gotta take you have to take a lot of the responsibility of the work, and you have to set a good example, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And how were the trail ride? How were the trail rides? Like, especially with the mob situation, and like that must have been a mess. Getting jumped all the time, right?
Yeah, it was
Um,
constant. Nearly every trail ride. No, it wasn't specifically a mob that jumped the trails. It was all kinds of people.
Hmm.
There was a few names that came up quite frequent. That just didn't like G in particular, and that's why they'd done it. It wasn't because of the members or anything. It was because of G that they attacked the trails.
Yeah.
And it got to the point where the staff were like, we don't want to host these trails because they just keep getting ruined all the time. And we were basically told to suck it up and do it anyway.
Hmm.
Even though we said it's not enjoyable, it's not fair for us, the amount of time and effort we put into, coming up with the trails, the route itself, all the details and stuff, the amount of time that it takes to deal with that, and then taking time out of your own life to host these events.
Hmm.
Like, and then nearly every time they were getting griefed and people were blowing them up, and like it just wasn't fun anymore. But and going back to Gypsy, he tried to accuse me of sending Mob to their trails, which I don't understand where that's came from. But
Yeah.
he also tried to accuse me of messaging his girlfriend on TikTok. I didn't even know he had a girlfriend, so I have no idea where that came from. But yeah, he tried to accuse me of messaging his girlfriend on TikTok, and I was
he
like,
Very
okay.
accused
paranoid,
more than
very
once.
like jumping to
Mhm.
conclusions, a bunch of
Yeah,
stuff
yeah.
going on there. Yeah, a bunch of stuff we
He
spoke about.
accused three of us. He also accused me of doing it too.
Yeah.
He
Mm-hmm.
accused Llama, I, and somebody else.
Hmm.
So we all got
Yeah.
accused for reaching out to his girlfriend. And again, like Llama, like what Llama said, I also didn't know that he had a girlfriend. I didn't know that he could even
Mhm.
pull one, to be honest. I thought he was too
Same.
busy kissing up the G's ass that,
Literally.
be rude, but like,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah. Going back to what Llama said about the trail lights getting blown up all the time, that goes back to when somebody asked G how come he never does like any trail rides host any, and why doesn't he ever join like their trail rides on Red Dead? He openly admitted that's because people are going to jump him and start
Mm-hmm.
killing him.
Hmm.
And and as far as I know, it makes no sense for Gypsy to blame Llama for Mob jumping them because Mob is on Xbox
Mm-hmm.
exclusively, as what I'm
Yeah.
aware of.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
And Llama's not even on Xbox, so that wouldn't make any sense. How would Llama
Mhm.
have ties with any of that, you know?
Yeah.
Exactly.
So they just, they just say anything to
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
save their
just to
face.
respond and then just to like gaslight or whatever. But a lot of these problems could have been hashed out just by talking things out. You know, even if
Yeah.
like creeps don't necessarily know when they're being creepy either. It's like
Mhm.
it's often just like an autopilot. But it's like if they actually listen to how they made people feel, maybe they'd be more sympathetic. You know, like maybe there was too much ego and not enough people talking about their problems, talking things out. You know. Which kind of gets me to my next point, which is like kind of like an escalation. Instead of talking things out, I saw a bit of like petty traits about 1G. He's very like vindictive. Um, they've talked about threatening people. Um, they've made fake accounts, even if they accuse other people for faking accounts. And you know, if you betray them, they'll ruin you, they'll ruin your life or something like that. Has that ever happened to y'all?
As far as that goes, somebody did tell me that he doxed them when I was asking her for like any evidence of anything. She was like, "You and your friends need to be careful." G had somebody who she trusted enough to get her personal Instagram or something like that, some personal um, social media account, and send it to him so he could have it and do whatever he wanted with it, that type thing. In one of his screenshots that he posted, you can see that he has a screenshot of somebody's personal social media account in it. Now, you can't fully see who it is or like the full photo because like it's kind of cropped out of it, but I can tell right then and there he's talking about that girl who I spoke to then and there.
Mhm.
Um, so when it comes to like the creepiness, I mean, creeps are everywhere, and it's hard to put up with. It's a shame that it's out there and minors and whatnot, whether you're 17, 16, 15, or whatever. And, you know, I never knew any of this was going on, but it's like asking around. There was some concerning texts that we've all seen, right? It's like a real thing here, and that's part of the reason why, or the main reason why I should say that we didn't end up having 1G on the podcast is it turned out that you know a lot of the stuff that he fed me was BS. There are minors that are speaking out, like you can see, and it becomes a problem because of how frequent it is. Right? It's like if you're not dangerous to minors, why are like you know 4 or 5 people like stepping forward? Why are there like a couple of stories? Why is there always a mix up with people's ages and stuff? And why are you always trying to like flirt with, you know, people that are, you know, that young? If you're in your like 30s, which I assume he is, um,
Mhm.
I mean, that's very
Yeah.
dangerous behavior, right? Very creepy. And if you're doing it all the time, I mean, it kind of shows that you know, your morals are kind of loose, right? His line is very blurry when it comes to like 18 plus and whatnot, right?
Yeah.
Like I seen a screenshot as well of one of the admins, Dark Angel. She was in a conversation with someone, and she had made a comment like, I can't remember the exact words, but it was something along the lines of, victims speak out; they don't just hide, which I found absolutely disgusting. Like that's not an okay
I,
statement to make.
Okay,
yeah,
well,
I was upset about that because I am a victim. I'm not going to get into of
mhm,
what, but I've been a victim to something in real life, and I stayed silent for like so many years
Mm-hmm.
and
mhm.
months before I even started speaking out about it. And the fact that she said that, like, I don't
To
know,
try
it
and
triggered
justify
me.
it, yeah.
Yeah, it triggered me off because that's not true. Like, she can claim that she's been a victim of something, but like if she truly was a victim of something, she would understand why some victims stay silent for so long,
Hmm.
why
Oh
some of
yeah.
them don't speak up, because
Hmm.
every situation has been different. Every victim deals with something different.
Hmm.
Yeah.
It's similar, but also very different of how they perceive it. And given that, some people don't feel comfortable, some people are too scared to speak up,
Yeah.
there's a lot of factors to play in when you are a victim.
It's a very ignorant and insensitive comment to make, for sure. And I've seen some weird screenshots of Dark Angel too. I'm not really impressed with any of the
Hmm.
thoughts that she comes up with. But like,
Yeah.
there's just there's too many examples. Like, I don't know. There was that live stream where the girl said that she was 20 years old, but she was a minor. I don't know. Like, there was that. So it's like,
Hmm.
it's like even if you don't know, just ask the age. Ask something, or stay away from. If you're in your 30s, I don't know, or even anyone. Okay, um, if you want an actual formula of ethics of like how young can you go, just divide your age by half and add 7,
Hmm.
and then boom, there's your solution. Guaranteed, I'm telling you, it works every time. Just divide
Hmm.
your age in half and add 7, and then you'll know if they're too young, right? Like, but there was the live stream thing. Um, then he told me about this girl that they accused him of, who was like young. She said that she was a minor, and then he's like, "Well, she works in a tattoo shop. Well, how could she be a minor?" So he's kind of making it seem like people are, kind of like hitting him with fake allegations because they're after him or something. But it's like, I don't know, why does it keep happening? Why does it keep reoccurring?
Hmm.
you know and then like just imagine the things that we don't know right now. I had to hunt for all
Yeah.
these screenshots.
Hmm.
um Jay, also, you had to speak with people. We all had to talk with people, and it's like, yeah, they're like, yeah, I was flirty with 1G, or we talked a bit, and I'm like, okay, how old are you? Oh, I'm 17. And then there's one girl that was even like, you gotta put a stop to it. You gotta check
Hmm.
yourself because you look like desperate.
Yeah,
Hmm.
speaking about minors, he always said that you have to be 18 or over, right, Lama, to be staff.
Yeah. To be staff.
But the thing that I find interesting is we were in staff with somebody who was a minor at one point, and they used to say you have to be 16 and over to be staff, which I
Mhm.
find very interesting.
Okay, okay.
And
Yeah.
even after we left, they had at least two minors in staff.
I guess it's like a bad look, you know. But it's like, I don't know. There's definitely complications. I mean, you're gonna get some insane backlash, and it's like very very complicated. What the community is trying to do, like 1G tried to make like one gamers like, oh, everybody is welcome. If you look at it, like there are too many types of people, too many cliques, too many groups, too many niches, and too many age groups to really just combine everyone and expect everything to work out. Can y'all talk about the complications of that, like having a community for everyone?
Obviously, he's got like Xbox, PlayStation, PC, and then all of the games. Not just Red Dead and GTA. He's got Fortnite, like literally everything. And it's a server with what, over 30,000 people or something. Like, how can you monitor that properly?
Hmm.
I just like, yeah, it's all good and well having a big community and whatnot, but when there's also so much drama around it all the time, like it makes you wonder, like, is it really worth it and is it really safe?
Hmm.
I know if I don't have children, but if I had a child, like I wouldn't want them in a server like that.
Yeah,
There's just too many people you just don't know. Do you know what I mean? And
it's too much.
yeah, it's just too much to try and handle. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm, yeah, and the fact that G likes to disappear during
Mhm.
half the time and have us deal with it, and then when he comes back, if he notices something that he doesn't like, he'll like basically get on us about it, be like, "Why was this decided without me here?"
Mhm.
without anyone telling me about it. And it's like, well, we try to, but you
Yeah.
tell us, you guys already know what you're doing. You guys are admins. You guys are staff. You guys don't need me, type thing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of hard. It feels like with him, it feels like you're stepping on eggshells.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
get that. And he's always like, I'm assuming that they deal with a tremendous amount of backlash, especially like these days. I know that they lost several hundred members after you pushed out your video, Llama, because people are aware of this stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
people are asking questions, and the heat definitely stacks up. So there's that. How does he deal with the backlash? How does he like respond or react?
He just doesn't. He just shuts it down and makes claims and says that it's all fake and it's cropped screenshots with not the whole conversation and tries to again justify it by saying, oh, she was 18 plus, but like it's not the point. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like these girls felt uncomfortable and it's not okay. And as I said before, there was another video put out however long ago about things that happened, and every time someone tries to question it or whatnot, they got shut down and told it was fake and whatnot. And
Yeah.
how can it be fake when there's so much of it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
and it keeps happening.
yeah,
More and more evidence
yeah,
starts
yeah.
to present
Yeah.
itself, right?
Yeah, even after the videos were posted, I've had messages that I can send for screenshots. People that have been in the same situation, people that have seen it. Um, so yeah, and even now, we don't know what's happening now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like, will he ever learn? Do you know what I mean? Will
exactly.
Will he ever learn?
Well, it doesn't look like it, and just like the way they handle stuff, and even when he responds, I mean, Jay, I think you kind of have like an AI detector. You could tell that his responses are
Oh
never
yeah.
genuine. It's just like
Mm.
he just I guess he's
Mm-hmm.
just using AI to kind of speak for him.
Yeah, he does. He uses that a lot,
For
which
everything.
I
Mm-hmm.
mean, like, it'd be better if he just typed it and used his own words, but he's never going to do that. He's always going to use AI or have somebody else do it for him. And the post, most of it, like, because again, like, this isn't the first time, but obviously it hasn't been 2 years. And if it has
Mm-hmm.
been 2 years that this has been going on, then that means, like, obviously there's something not right, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I think he's just him. Even him just saying 2 years makes it sound worse than
Yeah,
what
it's
it is,
dismissive
and
for
it's
sure.
Mm-hmm.
already bad enough. It's already bad enough. I'm not saying that's not bad. Like it's bad,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
but
Yeah.
it's
and it's
just
longer than 2 years too, because it's minimizing the problem.
yeah, yeah. And again, what Lama said, he doesn't react to it as much. He kind of tries to brush it underneath a rug,
Mm-hmm.
and then the most that he does is complain about how they lost members and then say
Mm-hmm.
that they need to start pushing out and getting more members again,
Yeah,
because again, that's all he really cares about. He doesn't care about anything else, just as long as he has good following numbers. That's all
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you got
he
to
really
Yeah.
sell
cares
out,
about.
right? Every
Yeah.
every villain has a sellout point. I find that people are completely over him. As soon as you have your 1G phase, they never want to go back.
Mm-hmm.
They like some people blocked me for bringing it up. Some people didn't want to get involved, and that's fine. Like you don't need to speak up. It's not like what
Mm-hmm.
Dark Angel said or whatever. Like if you're a victim and you don't want to get involved and talk, it's like, look, I'll leave you alone. But
Yeah.
some people really seemed like they were traumatized. I don't know if y'all ran into that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a real thing. It's
Mhm.
not just like, oh, it was a game and it's in the game and it's not a big deal. It doesn't affect me in IRL. But it's like I think it does. I think people when they're that involved in their community and like there's so much responsibility and there's so many things happening on a day-to-day basis, it's impossible not to be consumed by it, right? So
Mm-hmm.
where
Yeah.
wears you out.
Yeah, but I've had a few when I first started asking around. I had a few tell me that they didn't want to talk about it,
Mhm.
and they'd be like, some of them did redirect me to another person, be like, maybe this person will, but I don't want to talk about it. which
Mhm.
I understand.
Mm-hmm.
I know, like, some of our friends don't want to talk about it. I have I definitely have a friend who doesn't want to talk about it, associate anywhere near it because it just really makes him upset.
Mm-hmm.
I had a lot of females, saying thank you for, bringing it to light. Um, People that have tried to speak about it before and have been shut down saying thanks. You know, even guys, saying, thank you for bringing it to
Mm-hmm.
attention and stuff. And obviously, people very angry and annoyed over the situation.
Yeah, it's heavy. It's heavy stuff. For
Mm-hmm.
And I just hope that people can kind of see, both sides of the story here, really question everything. And, if you're being mistreated, put your foot down. There's other communities, there's other friends to meet.
Yeah, yeah.
It's never too late to start over or to like go somewhere else. Find another environment that you're comfortable in, and
Mm-hmm.
and just like focus on gaming recreationally, I guess. That's what bring us all together, right?
Yeah, definitely. There's more out there than just one gamers.
Yeah. And Red Dead or video games in general, take a
Oh yeah,
breather, take
yeah.
take a step back, and it's like it's not that deep, especially when you're being woken
Mm-hmm.
up in the middle of the night, when you got responsibilities and stuff. They is
Yeah.
a little excessive. Yeah.
Or trying to sleep and being pinged like 50 million times. Like, it's not okay.
Yeah.
Now you've seen it like happen to you,
Hmm.
and now you understand like where we were coming from. If G and his friends tried to say that we're petty or anything like that, we're not. We're not. We're quite literally understanding.
Hmm. Gotta like be able to talk things out, like we said, and maybe there's just like more behind the curtains that you could just hash through instead of just like living with grudges and ego, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anything else to add?
No, I think that's it. Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that you both did like a fantastic job bringing awareness to the situation. I commend you for it, and I just want to say that it was really brave of both of you to come speak out. Like it's not easy to talk about, and not easy to put yourself in the spotlight, but it's got to get done, and you did very good. So the on behalf of the community, we thank you. I thank you, and hopefully, it'll help some people make their decision.
Well,
Mhm.
thank you for letting us speak. Yeah, obviously people can see the videos, they can make their own minds up.
Hmm.
I'm not, forcing anything on to anyone. I've just posted to bring awareness to something that I myself have witnessed. I've been
Hmm.
through it.
Yeah.
Not all of it, granted, but I've witnessed things and stuff, and nothing that has been posted is fake. Do you know what I mean? It's all genuine. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah.
As Lama said, we're not going to force anyone to believe whatever they can believe whatever they want,
Mm-hmm.
their own choice. But my main concern is just making sure people are aware. So
Yeah.
if they do decide to, be into one gamers, they have an idea of what could happen to them.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not surprised by it, or they can be prepared. Because again, like to me, it's important for people to at least have some type of idea and be aware than to be blind to it and then experience it
Mm-hmm.
firsthand, you know?
Hmm. Hmm.
So yeah, we are thankful for you letting us have the chance to bring this more into light if it means more people could be saved from it
Hmm.
or could be aware of it and could prevent it from happening to them,
Yeah.
Yeah.
in other words.
The educate the players and leave it up to them to decide. They can make their own decisions. A free
Mm-hmm.
country. It's a free world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's pretty much it. We're gonna move on to the cover up now. Thanks again, both of you, for joining, and hopefully it'll work out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so we're back for part 2 of the podcast. We're bringing in ex-members of the community. They're gonna remain anonymous for their privacy. How's it going, guys? How's everything?
Yeah, good, thank you.
Everything's fine.
Awesome. Obviously, we're here to get a different perspective of like the things that happened. Y'all weren't in the community for X amount of years or something, right? How long were you in the One Gamers community for?
I want to say we were in there for like 4 months ish, around that.
Yeah, we literally like joined the exact same day.
Okay. So friends coming in and friends going out. It's
Yeah.
not like you met there and whatever, you know. You, what made you join the One Gamers community?
We met this guy on PlayStation who was like this really cool photographer, and he helped us with like loads of photos for his characters and stuff. He was really sweet, and he mentioned the One Gamers Discord. It was kind of a pain because we had to go through hoops to like actually get in it and like settle and everything. I had issues like getting in because it thought I was using a VPN or something. I've never used a VPN a day in my life, so I'm not too sure why that happened, but I was having issues with that.
But the VPN thing is not even anything to be ashamed about, right? It's just for protection. I mean, I know a lot of shady people use VPNs to do their business, but at the same time, I mean, there's loads of people trying to just cover
absolutely.
themselves and hide their IPs. So why did they think you had a VPN anyways?
I wasn't allowed access to like a sign up feature or something, if I'm remembering correctly. But again, I don't use a VPN, which I probably should in all fairness, but I do not use a VPN currently.
Okay.
I think you didn't have an issue getting in, did you?
No, I was like completely fine. It was
Yeah.
like the easiest thing.
We joined mainly for trail rides. I mean, that is exactly what we joined for. That's what our friend told us about. Was the trail rides that they did. And you went on one, correct?
Man, it was like the worst thing I've ever been on. You had to like join the voice chat, but you didn't have to speak. You just had to be present in it. And then like within 10 seconds of me joining it, the person who was hosting it was like, "Oh, you need to get in defensive. Like you need to get in defensive. It takes 30 seconds for defensive to like become active." But she was like down my throat the second I was in there. It just went on for ages. And she was just like in this one part, she was just like screaming at everyone to go forwards.
Because I've never been to any trail rides, but they did look, you know, pretty epic with how many people. But it's like, did you think that it was more nerve-wracking, or was it actually fun? Or, you know, are these trail rides really worth it? Or is it like, you know, is there a reason why, you know, the community grows so much?
I think like from my personal thing, maybe I just had like a different perspective of what it would be like. I just found it like kind of boring because it was also like you had to be in defensive and you couldn't do like anything to anyone or like wave at anyone.
Are you like antsy as a person, or is it like, do you normally do trail rides? Do you like doing normal trail rides that like from, I don't know, 10 to 15 people, or is it, or are you that type of player?
Yeah, I am like very non-PvP kind of girl. Like I don't really fight or do that sort of stuff. I'm very much like a flower picker.
Okay.
But I think it was just, I don't want to say the attitude because I feel like that's unfair to say because it's like, you know, they have their own set of rules.
Yeah.
But it was just like a lot of things to do this very simple task.
Yeah. And I think something that people feel sometimes, when especially coming in, is they often feel overwhelmed and intimidated, right, with all the rules and all the traffic and all like the action going on. It's not it's not necessarily like horrible or whatever, but it's just something to expect because there's that community is really popping off, and it's just like when messages blast in, it must be very difficult to maintain, especially when you're in staff. What were your first impressions coming in when you joined?
My first impression was, I mean, I don't particularly use Discord that much, and the last like server I was in was probably in 2020, and it had like a fraction of the amount of people. It was probably like 50 of us. So as someone who's not like that used to Discord, like seeing all the channels and everything, and like how many people were in it was a lot, which is completely fine. Like, you know, that's my own responsibility to like learn how to use something. But it was very confusing.
Okay.
And they were just like all of these sets of rules, especially about like the trail rides and stuff, with it being like no PvP. They had like themes for it as well and stuff like that, which is fine. But again, it's like, are you gonna exclude people who don't want to do the theme? You know, I mean, I never joined one. I never got the chance to actually join one.
Well, themes are really
life gets busy.
critical, so you got to follow the theme for sure. But like, yeah, I mean, I can only imagine going in there. So you definitely, like, when you join the community, like some Discord UI experience would definitely help. If you're a flower picker, you're definitely more suited towards the community. So you came in at some point this year and stayed for what, 4 months, you said?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'd say around that time.
Okay, came in together, and you got kicked. Can you talk about that? How did that happen?
Well, we saw that video on TikTok, of course, and I commented on it, saying, "Oh, I'm gonna bring this up in the server. You know, this is really concerning."
Oh, you're talking about the video of Llama, the one that got big?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
That one.
Yeah.
And yeah, obviously number two, you showed me that, and I said, oh, I should probably bring this up because, you know, when you see something, you wanna bring it up naturally. I didn't know if this had already been spoken about within the server or within the community. So, you know, I tried to send a link to the video. Links aren't allowed within the server or within the like chat I was using. And people started asking me what I was trying to send or something, and so I told them it was a TikTok of evidence against G and how he was being towards a lot of women. And we sort of just got like dogpiled in a way. Like, people started being quite aggressive. I don't know if they were mods or whatever, but they all had like a little symbol with G's name next to their user. So I imagine they were like all in his pocket anyway.
Yeah, it was probably staff that was jumping down your neck. But when you presented the video, did you come in with a like neutral mindset, or did you have like an agenda, or you were just curious? Like, what were you thinking?
It was mostly curiosity. Like, I think we're both the type of people who like hearing things from all perspectives. Obviously, it's quite scary to see behaviour like that in a community that you're a part of, even if, you know, if you've only been part of it for a couple of months and you've not even interacted with people. It's still pretty concerning.
Oh, for sure.
I, in all fairness, I probably could have come off a little bit more chill speaking of, like, about it within the server. So it's just like, hey yo, what's this? You know, it's a video with some pretty like predatory accusations towards, you know, G.
You were just
but
like neutral and concerned, right?
Yeah,
it's like kind of that.
I'd say so. Yeah, it was concerned. It came from like concern for what was happening, but I think the way that I reacted after was due to how they reacted to my curiosity. Because they immediately like jumped down his throats and were being quite aggressive and quite rude.
It was against both of us, but I didn't really talk that much because most of it was directed towards number one.
Okay.
but there was some towards me. But then yet again, I was the one who kind of like took the fall and went into the ticket with I imagine, like one of the main staff members or whoever runs tickets.
Okay, okay. Yeah, yeah. But at the same time, I mean, you should never feel ashamed for asking questions, important questions, right? You have to, you're human first, and a gamer, second or third or whatever. Obviously, it brings us all together, but it's like we have to. We can't oppress people. We can't like try to control people, especially through screens. It's very strange behavior, and there was a lot of that going on, as everyone could see. It became quite an issue, and I think this part is particularly important to talk about because, I mean, I know that it happened to you, but it happened to many others where, they try to cover up by painting you out to be a villain or a traitor or whatever, and they're very dismissive about these allegations, and it's like people keep bringing him up in the past for years, and nothing's been done. So, I just want to thank you, for coming out, and hopefully, it makes a difference this time because some of this behavior has to be stopped at all costs. People need to know that they can't abuse their community. And if people want to ask questions, they should have the right to ask questions. You don't need to gaslight or defend your point and defend, and then they'll defend theirs. And if you're in the right, then people will see that. But I got a lot of the runaround. They even ducked the podcast that they wanted to come on to when I told them that I would be bringing I would be bringing up some stuff. So it definitely seems like they're trying to hide stuff from everyone. And as long as y'all know that you did good out there by asking questions, because they don't like that, and it's probably a huge. Probably one of the biggest red flags in the community is like the suppression of free speech and them telling you what to do, what to think, how to who to be friends with or stuff like that. That's when it gets too deep. Don't you agree?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what I see as problematic behavior when the community gets too intense. But it's like when you're 30,000 players deep. How does it not get intense? I don't know. So, moving on from that, so they dogpiled you, and then, do you remember what triggered y'all getting kicked, or was it something specific, or is it like as soon as you brought the video up, it's the end?
So yeah, we brought the video up, and again they were being quite aggressive. They kept telling me to get in a ticket as well, and it took me saying about 5 times that I was sat next to number 2, and there was no point me getting in a ticket and like clogging things up even more, making more traffic.
Okay.
When I could literally just read her phone and look what was being said on her phone. And it took me saying that like 4 or 5 times for someone to actually be like, oh, okay. But like it was just the way that they were speaking to me. It was like they like held genuine authority, which I found like quite embarrassing.
Yeah.
Especially within the context of us just being curious about something and wanting to know if this had been spoken about yet or if it was like brand new information. Another thing that happened as well was when it was brought up, someone said that it had already been spoken about like 2 years ago. Which I replied saying, I got here 4 months ago. Why on earth would I have scrolled up through 2 years of announcements to check for something?
And
Like,
some of the drama is
we
new,
were
right?
both-
Like
we were
not
both
everything's old.
completely unaware.
Yeah.
It's like we were both completely unaware of this community until our friend told us about it. We'd never heard of them before. We don't really interact that much with like the Red Dead Online fan base anyway,
No.
because we both play. So we've sort of got each other to like play the game with. So yeah, we literally had no idea who anybody was in this server, whether that just be like normal people or staff, admins, stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah, so I don't understand why they'd assume that I would have scrolled up like 2 years of announcements just to check if this one thing had already been spoken about.
Yeah.
It seemed like a futile thing to do.
Well, it's like you said, they're very authoritarian, and I think when you bring it up in publicly like that, that's what pissed them off the most. It's like you're bringing it up for everybody to see, and it's like if there's any sort of controversy that works against them, that can, drama is more time and energy that the staff has to go through to regulate and handle. And it's like when you go public, that's when they get the most pissed off, and then they'll jam it down your throat. So you're gonna get it bad, So, and I think that is even more of a sign that like people are doing something wrong, because it's like if you were framed or lied about or whatever, or if it's all fake, you can kind of just like. You can kind of dismiss it without getting angry, but it's like when you get offended, that's when I see, maybe there's a little bit of truth.
Yeah, it's sort of like it told us all we needed to know from the beginning of how like defensive people were getting about it.
Exactly.
Because if these allegations weren't true, I'd imagine you'd be a little more calm and react differently. But it was the sheer like defensiveness.
Yeah, and
everybody.
And also, like,
kicking off at us.
Yeah, and they try to control the narrative right away, and then they're very, they're also not very open to talking about it. I don't know if you've noticed, but like I said, the podcast that I was supposed to run with 1G was, it was supposed to be like, he wanted to talk about people trying to sabotage him and all this stuff or whatever. And then he came back and he says, "Look, we're not gonna talk about any drama. We're just here to promote the community and whatnot." And I said, "Well, like if you come on the podcast and we don't talk about anything," I said, "I'm gonna look fake as hell. You're gonna look even more fake, and we're gonna get a whole bunch of backlash." And then
it's not good on you either.
Yeah, so they started getting really spooked, and they stayed far away after that.
I'm mostly just like concerned for like people who are in that community, like maybe don't know about things, especially the women in the community. Because I've not seen him like targeting any men. It's like the screenshots that I saw were specifically towards women. The ones that had like more of a sexual nature and stuff, which were the concerning ones.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd just like probably encourage people to not even like get involved, because obviously the second that you point something out that concerns you get harassed and kicked. So I really dislike the way that it was all handled.
I bet.
Yeah.
And it's like you have to if you do join, you have to go in there with like a blind eye or something. You have to just, I don't know. If you really want to be part of that community and do the trail rides, all the more power to you. But you don't bring up the drama that's gonna follow them for a while. And you just gotta ignore the bad things or something. But it's like if you ignore it, that also says something about you.
Of course it does.
So it really depends on the type of relationship you have with everybody in the comm, and what your what line do you have that you can't cross. That makes sense. Is this donkey dead? Hold on. We gotta. Oh shit! Oh, he's alive! I got 2 donkeys. It's too bad y'all are on PlayStation. It's all right. Let's proceed. My bad.
Obviously, like after the massive dog pile in the general, in like number 1 saying like, "Why would I get a ticket?" He's next to me. We were having like a back and forth, me and Joker. I think.
Okay.
How many people were in there, because there would just be like random who would just come in and like say something. But towards the end of the conversation, I explained where me and number one was coming from, which was like we weren't coming from an accusatory thing or like being aggressive. I know it might have come off that way, but it was never like intended that way. It's more of just like a we've seen this. Do you care to explain? They obviously fired back with the stuff being like, you know, it's been going on for ages. People were just irritated by people bringing it up. I simply just said, just a tip, if it's been going on for a long time, maybe you should discuss how to handle this going forward in regards to people asking questions. And then Joker came back with, yeah, again, it's been stressful. We are aware that this has been discussed. And then they were like, I'm going to close the ticket. Feel free to leave the server if you wish. And then in brackets, they put, I'd leave ASAP. Like, literally, I've warned you.
Okay. Yeah, the warning. It's like,
Yeah.
it's like you bring it up and you're automatically painted as a traitor no matter what. Yeah.
But, like, the worst part of this whole, like, conversation for me personally was me then messaging back, being like, was that a threat? And then immediately editing what they've said and saying, like, oh, no, I don't threat. And it was like, well, I have a screenshot of what you've said, so you have. And then immediately after that, making another ticket being like, one of your staffers has literally just threatened me. For them to be like, oh, like, you know, they've apologized, like, they didn't mean it to come off that way.
Okay, but they
Even
were
though
trying
it
to.
didn't come from Joker.
Yeah,
So,
but they were clearly trying to push you out.
quite literally. And
Yeah.
then the real kicker is then immediately I get banned after that. And it was like, okay, so
Okay.
it wasn't a threat, right? It was just, what else was it then if it wasn't? Because you've threatened me, then you've kicked me. So
Yeah. So anybody that's watching the pod, like if you're in the 1G community, you know, you can't bring any of this stuff up. You're gonna get kicked right away. If you value your place there, you gotta just like, you know, keep it under wraps or something or whatever. Just like if you ever do bring it up, just expect to get kicked on the spot or whatever. And I also gotta call out the community for alienating PvPers. I mean, you're crazy not to want PvPers in your community. And if we have VPNs, like we're not criminals. Like PvPers are like what, 60 to 70% of the community, maybe. I don't even know. I don't even know yet. But it's like if you have such problems with people, you know, maybe bringing in some fighters would make a difference. You know. But you know, these people definitely come with egos and attitudes, so you have to manage all that. No one's perfect, obviously, but I don't know. I just think that that's kind of like uncalled for. To pretend to be, you know, a community, an all-in-one community, all-inclusive, but you're gonna let in minors, but you're not gonna let in PvPers. That just like blows my mind. And then, oh my god. Oh. And then there was also, you know, the allegations online, the screenshots that we saw, you know, people like young girls, you know, stepping forward and being like, yeah, like, you know, I was affiliated with them. We were talking different things, whatever. I'm not gonna get into specifics because I'm not really allowed to, but it's pretty concerning when you exploit your community who just wants to get on and link up with people and play games. Like, this isn't like 1G Bachelor or something, you know? We're not like trying to find you like
not
your
Love
RDR
Island.
queen. Yeah.
yeah.
Because
Absolutely.
you mentioned minors, and that has reminded me of something that also happened within the ticket. We'd not brought anything up, and we're completely unaware if that he may have had like, you know, inappropriate conversations with minors or anything. We had no clue about that. We were just concerned about how he was speaking to women in general. And within that ticket, number 2, if I'm correct, I'm pretty sure Joker said something about him not speaking to minors like that, just like grown women. And the fact that we didn't even mention that in the first place and had no clue about that was like the most insane Freudian slip I think I've ever heard. Because when we've not even brought that up, it just shows that how much more is actually going on. I just thought that was important to bring up, because obviously it's something that we had no clue about that they'd then brought up.
Oh, my donkey died. I'm so sorry. You were talking.
They literally just like came out of nowhere with it, and they were like, "Oh, and by the way, like the minors thing, and we both wrote a message back being like, we never mentioned anything about minors.
Okay.
We had literally no clue about any of it.
Okay. Yeah. And it's like, I mean, false allegations are also everywhere, right? Everybody gets accused of this kind of stuff, but it's like when it's reoccurring, when the same type of stuff keeps reoccurring, especially when it's throughout the years, when you're talking about a timeline of like what, 3 years? It hasn't been going on for 2 years. It's been going on for a bit more than that. But like, you know, when it spans that long, you know that, you know, people don't really change, and you know, people just need to check their moral compass and, you know, stop exploiting the innocence of you know, minors. Like,
I just can't see the point in anyone creating like false allegations about this guy, because it's not like he's the CEO of like a big tech company or something, and people aren't trying to extort money out of him or whatever. Like he's a guy on the internet who makes GTA and Red Dead content. Like in the grand scheme, it's really not that important what he does. So I cannot like fathom a reason behind people making up false allegations. You know, some people do just do this for like the fun of it, which is obviously incredibly wrong. But
yeah.
it's
They're being
like
petty.
you can't like fathom that it's some sort of like extortion thing, or you know, people just doing it to get something to happen, because it's a Red Dead community. Like, you know, I don't understand why false allegations would circulate, and especially over the span of like, what was it, 3 years that you said?
It's
Like,
it's definitely more than
especially over
2.
that span of time.
They say it's 2 years, but it's definitely been more than 2 years. You know,
Yeah.
from what I've heard.
It's like it seems to be like a pattern of behaviour, and I can't say anything like wholeheartedly. Again, we were in that server for about 4 months, and we've not really heard anything else about it. But when you bring something up and it's like instant dogpile and cover up and getting kicked for just like having an opinion or bringing something to the light that's concerning, you know, that's sort of really telling of how they handle things, and you know, how these accusations probably are, you know, more true than not.
Yeah, but in the end, it's all allegations until, you know, people are actually, you know, get proven in a court of law or something. You know, nothing's real until you
Yeah,
get
of course.
trialed or whatever. If you can even get trialed, and especially we're all in different countries. You know, no one's really gonna die over this stuff, obviously. But it's just
No.
like it is dangerous, and especially how they just like dismiss stuff and cover up things. Like I said, it starts to become a problem. Can either of you talk about anything else with the cover up? Anything else you saw? Anything else they tried to hit you with, or anything like that?
I think like the most annoying part of it all was just like the ego that some people in that server had.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like I was back at school and I was being told off by a teacher. That's
Yeah.
like kind of how they spoke to me. Of course, with number 2 getting in that ticket and me just, you know, staying in that server and then trying to explain over and over again that I was sat next to her, and we didn't both need a ticket because I could just read what was on her phone. You know, the amount of times it took me saying that for them to understand it, and then like someone said something like, "I'm not gonna tell you again, do this or that," and it's like the ego of it all, and like the thing that you think you have like genuine authority over people
Yeah.
is just, it's really insane to me, because like I imagine I'd hope that all the, you know, people, all the mods in the server are adults, and it's like you shouldn't be talking to like kids in the server like that, never mind other adults. It's just like it's genuinely, it's like gotta be some sort of like ego trip that some of them are having.
Yeah.
And it was just really, really irritating, because I got that final message through from somebody saying like, "Oh, I won't tell you again," and then I got banned.
Mm-hmm.
Like I got a 24-hour
Suspension.
suspension from like typing and speaking in the server.
Oh yeah.
And I just thought, do you know what? I'm not gonna want to be here anyway after this entire debacle, so I'm just gonna leave now.
Yeah.
So technically, I wasn't kicked technically, but I got banned from speaking for a day. So I just thought, why would I stay here when I'm not even gonna want to interact with you lot anymore? Anyways, I may as well just like exit now.
Mine was like a proper perma ban. That fine ticket where they were like, we're going to close the ticket now. And yeah, they'd sent me the ticket thing. I just like immediately got hit with like a permanent ban thing.
And may I add that, I mean, this is probably a bit petty, but within the tickets, especially that last one that you got, it was just like incoherent babbling. And I understand English isn't everyone's first language, and that's completely fine. But it was like barely legible what was being said.
What, you think it was like AI or something?
I wouldn't say it was AI, but it was just like there was no grammar. There was like tons of misspellings, and it was incoherent. It was just like a ramble.
We did get told that it was AI.
Yeah, they
Because
use
it
AI
was-
Yeah,
sometimes.
with G using.
I was going to say, yeah, because they were also in that ticket. So there was some parts of the conversation where it was just incoherent, but it was because of like, they said like Google Translate and AI and stuff.
It almost looks like a tech company. You know what I mean? They have their structure, they have their support, they have their staff. You know, they have HR. No, I'm joking. And it's just like I think that's another flaw is that it's too structured around like businessy, and it's not like a recreational thing anymore. It's like you come in there and like just be part of the numbers, be one of us, and go along with the plan, go along with the show. And obviously they want you obedient, right? They don't want you asking questions.
Absolutely. Like it did feel more like joining some sort of business than it did joining like a fun community of people. It was just like really formal.
Yeah.
Which I understand when there's that many people in a server, you do have to have some sort of formality, and you do have to have some like sanctions in place and stuff like that, just to make sure that, you know, people are following rules and stuff. But when admins themselves aren't following rules or being like really aggressive and, you know, with G with all these accusations of being, you know, being sexually inappropriate towards women, you know,
It starts to...
It's inappropriate.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Do you have any final thoughts for the viewers watching right now? Any advice and like from here on out, besides the stuff we already gave?
I'd just say, like, come to your own conclusion, you know, take what's being said and do with that what you will. But just be careful around certain people on the internet. No matter if you're like a minor or an adult, you know, obviously you're more at danger if you are younger. I just think it's not worth, you know, joining a community who's instantly gonna be super aggressive towards you and kick you if you have any sort of question that you want to ask or any concern or, you know, anything like that. I just find the way that they went about things really inappropriate and really like unprofessional, and I did not appreciate being spoken to in the way that we were both spoken to. It like I said, it tells me all I need to know.
You got to ask yourself, first of all, it depends who you are. I mean, if you're a female minor, I don't think you should join at all. Maybe a male minor would be a little bit easier, not to like, you know, side with another gender, but it's like, you know, statistically, you know, guys are getting into less trouble over there. So if you're that, I would definitely skip out. If you really want maybe to meet friends fast, maybe there's like some good people in there, not necessarily the rankings because they might be taking their role a little too seriously, and they might be a little bit more stressed than the average person. They have more responsibility, which is kind of sad when you have a recreational environment that you meet up with. But yeah, maybe you can get lucky and find some friends. Who knows? And if you like trail rides, I hope they're fun. I guess. It's way more popular on PlayStation. Apparently on Xbox, it's like a little slow, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, the game is dying. But yeah, so PlayStation is popping off a bit more. If you're really sensitive to like abuse or like any sort of like traumas in the past from men, I would definitely like skip out on the community, because maybe one day someone's gonna trigger those same traumas and you won't be able to go back, or maybe something even worse is gonna happen. Who knows? You're more likely to kind of make a mistake and regret joining. If you do end up joining, just go in there with like an open mind, and don't take anything too seriously. And if you want to stay, like I said, avoid bringing up drama. They don't like to talk about drama. They'll kick you. It seems like they'll kick you out within the day if you bring it up. No exceptions. So
Yeah.
that's pretty much it. I want to thank the both of you for coming on. You're very brave. Your identity will be safe with
Get
me.
in touch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no problem. I mean, like, I would have never found you if it wasn't for that video and then the comment you left. You know what I mean? People are asking questions, so a lot of people didn't want to step forward. You guys did, so you're doing the community a big service by telling your story. So we appreciate that. All right. So that's gonna be pretty much it for this part. We're going to proceed to the last part now, and hope you guys can stay tuned. All right. Thanks for stopping by, everyone. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right, everyone. We're back and on to the final part of the podcast. So our next guest has more of a hands-on approach. They're from the OG group, I think. She's got a lot of information to offer here, so we're gonna get her insight on that. I'd like to introduce M. Welcome, and it's glad to have you here.
Thank you. Hello. Thank you.
Hello.
So I'm Em. Hello, everybody. I'm 22 years old. I was 21 last year when I left OG, more like being kicked out, but we'll talk about that later.
Okay.
I started playing Red Dead actually because I'm a horse trainer in real life also. So I was looking for horse games online. And I started playing Red Dead with my boyfriend because actually he's the gamer in the family,
Okay.
and Red Dead was like a compromise to us. We ended up joining OG together as a whole, me and my boyfriend, because we wanted to meet more people and have more friends to play Red Dead with.
And how did you find him?
Well, actually, I stumbled across on some videos of them on TikTok, and that was it.
Okay.
And I messaged the G, actually the OG TikTok, and he gave me the invite for Discord, and then I invited my boyfriend. So there was nothing, I don't know, difficult. I just want people to know this background info about me, the fact that I'm not a minor, the fact that I have a boyfriend, and I live with him and we play Red Dead together, and the fact that I have a bachelor's in psychology, because I want people to understand that there was no intention of me flirting or getting too friendly, quote unquote, with G, unlike what I've seen that he accuses girls of recently.
Okay. I wanted to talk about what was it like being in the community and it growing so much. You saw it change in multiple phases because you were around for a while. Um, how was it like running with 20, 30,000 people in the community?
um, Short answer is hard, very hard.
Mm.
The long answer is that I didn't become a staff member because I really wanted to prove myself or anything like that. It was just because I've met two other girls on the Discord server.
Hmm.
I am not gonna be giving out their names. I'm gonna call them X and Z.
Okay.
Uh, and I met them. We became really good friends. They also play on PC, both of them. And
Mhm.
they are also both from Europe, like I am. So we started playing a lot. These two friends and myself and my boyfriend.
Okay.
Um, the two of them were already staff, both of them, and they were kind of the most active PC staff. Let's call it that.
Hmm.
And after a while that I've been in OG, they were looking for stuff. And one of my friends asked me if I was willing to become a staff member so that I can help them. And I was like, yeah, sure, why not? I mean, you're my friend. The other one is also my friend. I want to help you. I
Hmm.
mean, people seemed nice in the start when I only knew the people closer to me, let's call it that, not the big head admins and the queens and G personally.
Okay.
So obviously, I accepted to be staff. They were both very excited, and I didn't really understand why would you need help that kind of desperately, you know?
Okay, so desperate in what way? Like they needed a lot of hands on deck to help with the events and to kind of keep the
Yeah,
community
yeah.
running and whatnot. So, how many people did it take to actually run the community?
Ah, that's a really good question. All of them, all the time, to be honest.
Mm.
um, I didn't know what I was getting myself into because I've never been much of I don't know, online persona, but I wanted to help them, like I said. And oh boy, I was in for a surprise. They needed help.
Okay, okay. Because they have like
Um,
because they kind of turned it into a like a 24/7 business almost. It's always going on around the clock,
yep.
and there's bots involved, and 20, 30,000 people. Um, it's like it's like a machine that runs 24/7 almost. So I'm sure that must have been intimidating.
It was a little bit in the beginning because I didn't know what I was supposed to do most of the time until some of my friends explained things
Hmm.
to me. And from the very first day, I wanna say that there were some things that I kind of found unsettling and not okay in the staff chat and in the way things were ran
Okay.
by the higher ups. Let's call them that. I don't know what to call them.
Well, the admins,
Um,
they were problematic.
some of them, I'm not gonna accuse all of them because some of them are really nice people.
Hmm.
But the others, the others, oh boy. I saw unnecessary drama from the very first day I joined staff, and I was kind of disappointed because I had this perception of them being really nice people. Like I told you, I've met those friends of mine that are still my friends, and I love them very much
Hmm.
still. Uh, but when I met the others and the chaos that was in staff chat and all the drama and yelling in caps and I don't know. It was just a lot for me. And I was still in uni. Uh, I had other stuff to do. So I was like, oh my God, what did I get myself into? But I was like, okay, let's continue. I'm sure everything will settle down. I don't know, in a couple of days. I didn't want to generalize and make an assumption that every day is like this. I was kind of thinking to myself that maybe they just had a bad day, you know?
Okay, but what would you compare it to? Because other people mentioned it was like a school or a prison or things like that. Would you say that's an accurate assessment? Like, how did they make you feel like while you were there?
When I was a kid, I uh, I wanted to work with horses, so I kind of did volunteering, you know, quote unquote volunteering We were working from 7 a.m. till 9 p.m. every day, walking 20 kilometers every day, working with dangerous horses, and we didn't see any money. Yeah, that's a good analogy,
Okay.
to be honest. The only game that I was playing at that time was Red Dead. So I didn't know anything about any other games. I
Mhm.
didn't have any experience. And I was kind of surprised to find out after a couple of days, I don't remember exactly, that we needed to help G every day when he was streaming with GTA players and their questions about the game. And by the game, I mean GTA.
Mhm.
Uh, most of us knowing nothing about Grand Theft Auto.
Mhm.
So that was kind of a surprise because I thought that it's not what I signed up for. I had no knowledge of GTA and how does it run and how does it work and what are car glitches and I don't know what other stuff he did on GTA, to be honest. I have no idea. And people came into the server from his stream and they were asking all the questions possible, like how to obtain that, how to contact
Mhm.
G, how to do that. And we were so, I don't know, we
Overwhelmed.
were, yeah, all the time because we didn't know what to answer them because we weren't GTA players, most of us, because he wasn't able to find GTA admins, which most of them were actually GTA players,
Oh,
not
really?
Red Dead
Yeah.
players. In my time being staff, I don't remember, but I think he had like two or three, maybe three GTA staff members. So the ratio was all over the place, if you ask me.
What I noticed is that um he promotes a lot of females. He like recruits a lot of females in general, but there's a you're talking about this ratio. The ratio is interesting because the guy to girl ratio in Red Dead is completely different from GTA. GTA has a significant more male players playing than females. It's just the way it's always been and whatnot. Whereas the ratio is completely different in Red Dead. And a lot of the admins that I see are females from Red Dead, and they brought up the same points as you. Is that like you know um, it looks like G and obviously everyone else saw a lot of potential with GTA and GTA's future. So he's trying to kind of mold his community around GTA more this year, which is logical. But at the same time, you kind of sell out your admins because most of your admins came from RDR, from what I see, and they're female. So it's like they're gonna have even less knowledge and even care less a lot about and even care a lot less about GTA. Like you said it yourself. You like horses. You got into Red Dead because you had a passion for horses, and then all of a sudden you're put on this other game that's completely different that has no horses, and you're like, why would I care or even know about this game? When I came from Red Dead, and now you put me in this awkward position where I'm supposed to act and support you through a game that I don't really play. That makes sense?
Yeah, it was totally like this. And also, another important point is that most of the Red Dead players that were joining OG were kind of nice,
Hmm.
most of them at least. But the GTA players, they were, the majority of them were teenage boys, I will assume,
Yeah.
that were, how do I say this, difficult,
Yeah.
very difficult, especially when they joined and they saw female admins.
Yeah.
You 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 can foresee the dynamic,
Yeah.
uh, right? Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
The mess.
It Yeah, it was a mess. It was a mess. They didn't know how to say hello. They didn't know how to say thank you. They were very pushy. We needed to answer them instantly.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a lot. And also, if we weren't active of helping when he was streaming and redirecting all the GTA questions to us, obviously, G would tell us that he works so hard for this server and that we are not supportive of him.
Mhm.
And this was like every day. At that time, at least, he was streaming GTA every day, and every day there were a lot of new GTA players joining. So he kind of was making us feel like this was a part-time job and that we had obligations as staff. But to be honest, neither of us was getting paid.
Yeah, so it's more like a slave, slaves almost work without pay, right? Which is illegal.
Yeah, yeah. And I know for a fact that that's not the case in every Discord server. I know that some Discord servers, especially this big, with this kind of flow of people, are paying their stuff.
Oh yeah, as soon as you talk about actual, as soon as you're waking people up while they're sleeping, or if you're doing legitimate like jobs, like I said, video editing or audio engineering, or I don't know, any sort of thing that brings value, and like if someone throws an event for G and he gets 100 followers within that event, I mean he's the only beneficiary here. That's bringing value to you and you're not being compensated. So and then not to mention all the stress and anxiety that comes outside of all of that behind the scenes. But also, I just think that it's irresponsible and illogical to think that you're just gonna bring all these people together and it not being a shit show. It just doesn't work. And especially when you're bringing two different communities like GTA and RDR, even if they're made by the same developers, like you say, there's a bit of a difference in personality. The type of people that play GTA are not necessarily the same type of people that play RDR.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And he was making us work for this. I'm gonna be honest here. In that part of my life, when I was staff, I was waking up, and the first thing that I was checking was my phone to see who joined, if there are any problems, if it's something that needs to be done, and it was also the last things that I did when I was going to bed.
Okay. Yeah.
So it was a lot. Also, I want to point out the fact that G was pinging us all the time and all the staff members late at night for us just because he wanted to chat or just because he wanted to, I don't know, make a joke or just because he had a new meme that he found funny. And I don't know, for no actual reason, when he knew that most of us are either from the States or from Europe and we were asleep at that time.
Okay, so he was conscious of people's time zones, and I guess he was just inconsiderate of them and abusing.
Obviously, he knew because we knew each other's nationalities. There are roles in OG about nationality, like we, they have,
Mhm.
sorry, they have a Romanian chat, for example. I'm Romanian,
Okay.
okay? So he had roles made for nationalities. Of course, he knew where we are all from. I do really think that it's a big difference when I just want to send a message and I know you're from a different part of the globe, right? So I just send you a message and you'll see it when you'll see it, it's fine. And it's a big difference that from pinging everybody,
Mhm.
okay? Late at night.
For sure. And were there an even amount of male and female admins, or was there an offset?
No. Um Most of us were female, to be honest. Most of us.
Mhm.
There were some male admins, I don't know, three, four of them for RDR, and there were two, three, maybe three, but I don't want to lie. Admins, male admins for GTA, and that was about it. And all the others, we were females for sure.
Like approximately how many females? Like 10? 15?
No, more. I don't know. I never counted, to be honest.
What?
I've never counted. It was I didn't have time to count, as
No,
I
I know, but
told you.
more than 15 admins, female admins?
Yeah, yeah, I think so, but I don't want to lie, but I think so,
I mean,
yeah.
that's fine. It's like an approximation. So let's say you're a single guy that's cruising around Red Dead or GTA trying to find a partner. This community would technically be like a gold mine, especially like if your admins, most of your admins are female. I can only imagine how many females are joining just as regular members.
Especially because females tend to be more nice
Hmm.
in this community.
Understanding, yeah.
So you kind of, I don't know, when you join a community like this, you kind of bond with females more,
Hmm.
especially in the beginning. So yeah, he was kind of the only male that was active more or less. We had two, yeah, only two male admins that we actually played with and made friends with,
Okay,
other
okay.
than G.
Why I'm asking these questions is kind of like diving deeper in the community in the sense of like, was this community exploitable by like fuckboys or people with agendas or just trying to like be popular and things like that with ladies, not necessarily there to game or to make friends. It's like to make friends in like a different way, if you get what I'm saying. Because
Totally.
yeah, because then if people try to figure that stuff out, then your community is more likely to attract creeps. And I'm trying to understand how easy it was. What kind of creeps did you see in the community, and what kind of problematic behavior did you observe firsthand on your behalf from yourself?
To be honest, I had a personal problem with one creep before I was tough.
Okay.
Um, I was at a trail ride like every other day, and it seemed a normal trail ride. It was actually my second trail ride with OG, so I was kind of naive and clueless, to be honest.
Hmm.
Still. And after the trail ride, there was a fist fight. I don't know, somewhere near Armadillo, I think.
Hmm.
And two people approached me, uh, and they were sending me messages on the Rockstar social thing.
Okay.
Uh, and one of them started to tell me that he knew that I'm from Romania. And and I being naive, obviously, I was like, yeah, okay, well, do you know my Discord? So that's where you saw that I'm from Romania. And he, at the time, I didn't know he was a he,
Okay.
because he had a female character.
Here we go.
Okay. Yep, it's starting. Uh, he told me that no, he doesn't know my Discord. He was a modder on Red Dead,
Hmm.
and that's how he managed to see my location. So, and
So you
I
got
was
hold up,
like,
hold up, hold up. So you got people pulling IP addresses in that community?
yep.
Okay.
And after this interaction with him, yeah, right. Um, for about a week, he was randomly spawning in on me. I didn't accept his friend request, mind you. I
Okay.
didn't accept his friend request, but he just continued to spawn on me at random times in the day and started asking me questions in the voice chat, like personal questions,
Hmm.
meaning how old I am, what town I am from. Romania is a small country.
Hmm.
Just a disclaimer, Romania is a small country, so we kind of know every region of it. And he started asking me, where am I actually from? Like, not Romania, what city are you from? And I was starting to get a little bit freaked out because I didn't understand what he wants from me,
Hmm.
to be honest.
Did he know you had a
And
boyfriend?
yeah, I
Okay.
mentioned it to I really did mention it to him. So I didn't want to be rude or anything because I don't like to assume things of people. That was starting to be a little creepy, to be
Mhm.
honest.
And like, just to point out a red flag, if someone is trying to meet up with you that you don't know that much, even if they live close to you, whatever, if they're near you, it doesn't give them the right to, you know, um, kind of cross the line and put pressure to me. That's obviously a huge red flag, and just to be wary of the dangers. If people are trying to meet with you so early on, within like a year, I shouldn't say within a year, within like a couple of weeks, then you should be on your guard, especially the younger people out there playing these video games. Like I said, creeps are everywhere, especially on Rockstar games.
I was really scared because I was thinking that I can't open Red Dead ever again because every time in that week that I opened Red Dead, he would just spawn on me. Okay,
Mm.
so I wasn't really able to play the game,
Yeah.
and the only way that I've managed to resolve resolve the situation is by talking to other females and talking to the staff members from OG and
Mhm.
other Romanian females from this community that also knew him, and they've also confirmed that I should stay away from him. Other modders that blocked him from being in the same server as me, and this kind of stuff. So reaching out to people more competent than you is also very important.
And we can go on to identifying the main problems to kind of um, sum everything up. One of the big things is like a lot of people were complaining that he was selling his community out. When the majority of your staff came from Red Dead, you can't expect people to follow you to different games and to um, give opinions and to help you when they're not brought up to speed or necessarily qualified, right? So there was that, and also always like chasing followers, and it's always about you lose a couple of followers, you gotta get them back. It's like a very hungry corporate mentality. I kind of see where profit is equals followers, and profit is king and stuff like that. So he seems a bit inconsiderate of his staff. Particularly with that, calling other people at night and kind of like structuring the staff to kind of find his I guess you could say his true queen. I compared him to I compared the community to kind of like a bachelor situation, one of those TV shows where, one popular guy is trying to find the love of his life, but at least the shows are straightforward with that, whereas this is kind of like, it kind of looks disguised, a little
Yep.
bit. Yeah. So that kind of creates a really complicated dynamic, especially when you're growing your community to that size. I mean, it must be a nightmare.
Groups usually by law, by psychological law, should at least to be okay and to have consistency and to get everybody to get on with each other, should at least have the same interests.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't think that the people from the Red Dead community, at least the ones that I've met, and I've met quite a lot of them from OG, were or were not having the same interest with the GTA community that he was building up actively.
Hmm.
Very, very different kind of people in brought together by what? By what? By G's desire to bring them together so that he can grow his numbers, because after all that is the only goal that he have had in my opinion, just
Hmm.
to grow his numbers, because these two communities, which should be seen as two independent groups of people, if you want, they weren't interacting just at all, just when we staff members were trying to help people from the GTA community, because he never had enough GTA stuff available, never, because he wasn't able to find GTA stuff.
Hmm.
But in my personal opinion, these kind of groups that are so different in so many ways shouldn't be put together just for your glory, for your ego, just so that you can say that I have 30,000 people in my Discord server or whatever. It does not matter. There was drama every day. It just it's not worth it, in my opinion.
Okay, so you think that it would have been better to like keep it small or keep it under 1,000, or what would have been worth it? What's the solution?
Not really keep it under 1,000. I don't think numbers are what's important here. I think that people are important here. You can't sell the same product to somebody who is a teenage boy who wants to, I don't know, grief people on GTA or mod cars on GTA. Yeah, right. And to the same people you market a Discord server to the same people that just want to have chill night trail rides on Red Dead that are probably adults in their 30s. Yeah.
Mhm.
You can't just put these people together and expect nothing to happen and everybody to be a big happy family.
Yeah, I
It's
completely,
not how it works. It's not how it works.
for sure. Or it's you can't just like throw everybody in the same place. I think it's ironic to have this one community, but then you're cutting out one of the biggest type of players as the PvPers. Do you support the decision to have a purely like passive community, or do you think it was a mistake to cut out PvPers entirely from the community?
I think his community would be a lot better off by dividing people more clearly. Like,
Hmm.
this is a server just for GTA. This is a server just for Red Dead. This is a server for PvPers. This is a server for, I don't know, trail
Yeah.
riders. I think that's a really important idea, and people will only be brought together by common ideologies and by common interests.
Hmm.
Yeah, he should have made something also for the PvPers, obviously, because as you said, they are a majority. But
Exactly.
just make it better organized. I don't know.
Yeah, section people off, or eventually that's what people do. They form cliques anyways, but it's like create the proper environments for everybody. But man, that sounds like a lot more work to um, navigating all that. But anyways, we'll move on. We're not here to necessarily save the world or anything. Just trying to point things out. We're looking at the problematic behaviors and the patterns that people are kind of displaying here. When I looked at the overall scenario, I saw a lot of stuff being dismissed, and there's some cover ups, right? I told you that G tried to come on the podcast, wanted to talk about a whole bunch of stuff, and then the next day or whatnot, he completely backed out. Um, to me, that's like the indecisiveness kind of shows a bit of a cover up. That's one of the reasons why I started digging and looking into all this stuff. Why are you gonna come at me trying to come on the pod and then just like walk it back? That says something to me. And I'm not trying to screw people over, but it does make me suspicious. What did you think about the cover ups and dismissing everything and saying, "Oh, I was 2 years ago, let it go," or whatever? Do you agree with them or on how it was handled, or do you have an opinion on that?
Sometimes the abuser tends to play the victim role so that he can escape the consequences, you know.
Mm.
And that happens a lot, sadly, in today's society.
Yeah.
Let's call it that. Um, I think that's what he's trying to do. I think that when you're the owner of a server this big, which you are telling everybody that you've made, yeah, from scratch, the only person responsible for anything there is you,
Hmm.
okay? It's like you cannot accuse a child for something that his mother taught him.
Hmm.
it's always the adult's fault. And in this context, G being the owner and G being the, I don't
The
know,
host.
yeah, the host of this big happy family, quote unquote, um, he's responsible for everything that goes wrong, in my opinion, because he created it, he grew it beyond the point of controlling it.
Hmm. Yeah, that's true.
So now that he kind of, now that people have revealed some things about him, some questionable things about him, he's just trying to protect himself, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because 30 a Discord server with 30,000 people is a high horse to fall off
Hmm.
from.
Even right now, as the videos start to push out, more and more people are reaching out to me, and I'm getting more statements, more experiences, and it's like you can't just dismiss or cover up some of the things that I've read. So, I think it's time to put it forward and see what the community thinks, because there are ethical concerns here, and especially involving underage people. Do you think that he was infatuated with young people, or were they just there at the wrong place at the wrong time, kind of thing? You know anything about that at all?
To be honest, I don't. All my friends from the Discord server are adults,
Mm-hmm.
so above 18. But I also think that he doesn't do enough control the members about that. I don't think that Discord server is minors friendly.
Mm-hmm.
There are just too many people, yeah, too big of a number of people to make them all of them behave in a way that is child appropriate.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can't do that, if you are unable to control them and their behaviors, you should just make the server 18 plus, and it's totally fine.
Yeah.
But he didn't, and a lot of underage people joined, at least in my time being staff, obviously. A lot of underage people joined, and we didn't know really what to do with them or how to talk with them. Of course, respectfully, but there were times when there needed to be some more form of control
Mm-hmm.
over the situations. So I don't think he was kind of looking for underage people, but I think, yeah, that they were just getting in the server and everything is just a complicated story from there, at least in G's opinion.
Yeah, I agree. And it becomes an even bigger mess. Some people talked about how the rules were loose around some admins. There was a problem with favoritism and whatnot. Obviously, besides the bad experience that you had with one person, did you see a lot of entitlement and a lot of admins breaking the rules for their own gain or anything like that?
First of all, Mania, she was mentioned before, so yeah, she was one for sure.
Yeah.
Um, but also favoritism. Favoritism was there. I can for sure tell you that because mm, me being a very honest person and I don't know, not very experienced in the online gaming world. Let's say that
Mm-hmm.
I've had a real picture, profile picture on Discord for a long time. Most people on Discord don't have a real picture of them as a profile picture, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when G first started to try to chit chat with me here on Discord, on his Discord server, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, yeah, well, okay, he's just chatty. I mean, it's not that deep. I wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know about his past with girls. I was unaware about all of this and all of that. Okay. So he just started to try at least to chit chat with me here on Discord. The story goes like there was a trail ride, and me and my female friends were talking in the PC uh, chat. Yeah,
Hmm.
how to how to dress up for the trail ride. Totally normal conversation, right?
Yep.
And G joined the convo casually, I don't know, randomly, and he was like, "M, how about you make me an outfit?"
Oh man.
And I was a little bit stunned and I was a little bit confused, and me, of course, being naive and giving him the benefit of the doubt, I was like, "Oh well, yeah, I can't really because I have a female character, so I don't know how should I create an outfit for your male character. But if you want," I told him, "if you want, I can grab my boyfriend's account." So I kind of tried to play it smart, you see. But he played it more smart than me because he was like, "Yeah, yeah, no need, I don't know," and he started to send me some links to his TikTok videos posted, yeah, uh with outfits, okay, with Red Dead outfits, and he was like, "Just pick one from here." And after I sent him that screenshot back of the outfit that I quote unquote chose, I wasn't really paying attention. I just picked one. After I liked it, he followed me and he DM'd me on TikTok because now, because I liked his TikTok, he had my TikTok account. What a surprise, right?
Okay, so he baited you into revealing your personal TikTok.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
Okay.
I think so. I think so. I'm almost sure about it. So he started to DM me. It was kind of a casual conversation. He asked me, what do I do? And I was like, what do you mean? What do I do? What do
Hmm.
I work? What do I do now? What do I don't know. And he was like, yeah, no, generally, I just want to know my stuff.
Hmm.
I'll send you screenshots with this convo.
And just to
Um,
keep in mind that this is another major red flag. Obviously, you weren't reciprocating that type of vibe. You weren't on the level of like sharing personal information that deep at that point. So it's good to stick with your gut and not necessarily talk about that. But I guess you were put in the position where you had to, or else it would be awkward.
well, no, because I didn't want to engage, like you said. And I told,
Unenthusiastically.
yeah, unenthusiastically, I told him, exist, live, all that stuff. Why? It stopped as soon as I mentioned my boyfriend again. Yeah, that was the end of the convo, which I found really funny. And after this conversation with him, I also wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt still. And I asked one of my friends if he also DM'd her. Like,
Mm.
I don't know, me thinking that he is messaging all his staff members, right? Because he just wants to get to know us because we are a big family. Guess what? No DM ever.
Okay, okay.
And we kind of came to the conclusion that he found me more interesting because at that time I had a real picture of me posted, whereas this friend of mine, she did not.
Yeah,
So yeah, that's a problem. That's a big problem, in
yeah.
my opinion.
Um, so I think that in its entirety, I think we presented enough information that people kind of get the gist of it. The red flags that stand out the most, not even as a community, but specifically for 1G, I had a lot of examples of being lazy. All right, the lack of involvement in events, in content. Obviously, he's the front man, but a lot of the hard work was delegated to others, whereas he should have just like took responsibility for a lot of the stuff and took the wheel. You can't necessarily give the excuse that I have a full-time job when you put everybody in this situation, you raise the community, and they have an expectation for you to carry the community, which he doesn't necessarily do as much as he should. Obviously, if you're going to delegate the work and if you want to be supported, you have to be supported with people's time. If people give you their time, you have to compensate them somehow, and it's usually financially. People have to get something out of it, and everybody speaks the language of money, right? So it's like um, everything would have been dismissed if like you can actually pay some of these people, especially your video editors or people that are bringing the most value to you. Um, if not, then you gotta like downsize. Don't scale up. Don't grab more followers. The more followers you get, the more people need to kind of look after everyone, and you're putting more strain on your community, and your staff doesn't necessarily want to see you get big. They don't necessarily benefit from you going to 50,000 or whatever. It's going to make their lives a living hell. So you have to create an incentive to motivate these people to work. And that's how businesses work. Uh, you know, apply the demand, as they say. Do you agree?
Yeah, totally, totally.
There's also, I mean, I understand that there's a bit of like language barriers, but I was told that he is perfectly capable of speaking English and communicating just fine. There was a bit of an abuse of AI, and when serious things need to be addressed and they sound super, perfect and, AI written, it's very artificial and disingenuous. So I found that kind of like disappointing, and especially the way they cover up things and they hide stuff. And even with me, I mean, like we were in talks, and then eventually they just stopped answering, and it's like, yo, why aren't you answering? Why don't you want to reach out and talk about this? Isn't this important? If you really cared about the gaming community, um, you'd have some sort of, I guess you could say, alibi for why all these things happened. I would say like there were a lot of like weaknesses in communication, a lot of flaws with communication, and I think it goes back to being lazy. I mean, he's not lazy when he needs to show a meme or wake people up about like stupid things, but when things actually need to be addressed, you're told to shut up, or it's kind of like brushed under the rug often. And also, like a lot of people talked about the manipulation, which is another huge flag. He's often pretending to care to get what he wants. He's like brainwashing. Um, there's too many rules, but he like relaxes them with other people. I guess that became like a problem. Also, there was a lot of, like you mentioned, there was a bit of stalking going on. A lot of guys, not a lot of guys, but a couple of guys were using different methods to stalk female members and whatnot. I mean, that's a very big problem in an environment where it's supposed to be safe. Also, like deleting texts, changing your names all the time, blurring out names of the victims. I mean, to a certain extent, I mean, you don't necessarily need to show the victims, but sometimes people wanted to be heard and they were covered up, or I don't know. You're gonna have conversations with people and then delete all the text and stuff. That also shows that maybe you're trying to cover stuff up, which is very manipulative during these troubled times. I don't know if you saw that. Did you experience a lot of like things being covered up and information being gaslighted and text being hidden or deleted?
Yeah, of course. He was also changing his name all the time,
Mm-hmm.
and he was deleting texts, enormously long texts that he was apologizing and explaining stuff in. And also, yeah, he's perfectly capable of speaking English. Excuse me, but late at night when he was lonely and wanted to chat, he would send voice messages on Discord, and he is perfectly capable of speaking English.
Mm-hmm.
Don't worry about that. So yeah, he telling people that yeah, no, you misinterpreted my message because I'm not a native speaker, and that's why you got misinterpreted. It's not. It's just not. He can speak English very well, trust me. He just has an accent, but
Yeah.
that's all. Every time a girl spoke up about this kind of stuff, there was a message sent in the announcements chat.
Mhm.
A long message with him explaining that he's just a victim, that he didn't knew that girl's age, that he was lied to, that she's underage, that
Mhm.
let me think. Long messages, a lot of gaslighting about, oh, I didn't know that, I wasn't aware of that, I didn't want to hurt her, I didn't want to be a creep, I'm not a creep, but she was flirting with me, she wants the attention.
Mhm.
Like,
Mhm.
he's some sort of very attractive and very popular person that every girl wants his attention. It's not the case. Most of the girls that were approached by him that I know of, my personal friends and myself, have boyfriends, have husbands, and do not care for online flirting.
Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that's for sure not the case. But this is what he tells people that kind of I don't know. It's an excuse for him. I flirted with an underage girl because she was also flirting with me, or I don't know, she wanted to. That's not how it works.
Really, there was a bit of complaining by him. He's saying that he doesn't have anybody to help him against, like, the drama, and like they're being targeted. It's like, well, you kind of alienated the PvP community, and it's like when you get attacked, you have no one to defend you. It's like you got to kind of like start rethinking your strategy, because the people that are willing to fight for you are the ones that are confident and who want to fight. You need some wolves in the herd, right? You think?
Yeah, of course. And I'm sorry, but him being targeted is just a consequence of his own actions, after all.
Hmm.
Nobody came to attack him just like that, just because, I don't know, I don't like your face. No, there were problems there that led to this happening. We didn't have random griefers, at least when I was staff, that came to grief us on our trail rides. No, that's not how it's happening. People are pissed, and people feel the need to do something about the fact that they are pissed, and it's their right, after all, because he doesn't let them speak. As soon as you speak in that Discord server about this kind of stuff, you're getting banned. what
Hmm.
what are people supposed to do?
Yeah, it's like you're caught.
um to be honest, I stopped playing Red Dead after everything went down and after I left OG.
Mm-hmm.
I still kept in touch with my close friends that I mentioned, but other than that, the game itself has not been opened on my PC for 6 months
Hmm.
till today. I started gaming with my boyfriend,
Okay.
just the two of us, and after that, yeah, we met the community and we started gaming more and having more fun with these friends I told you that we've made in OG. um and after everything went down and after all the drama and the creeps and the so-called flirting and the bad words that we were called and everything among those lines, I
Hmm.
just had, I don't know, no desire to open the game. I was so disappointed. I was so sad about the whole situation. Of course, I still talk to my friends, that my close friends that I've made in that server, but it's not like we play or anything else. It's just it's more like in I don't know, every couple of weeks we send each other a message like, hey, you okay? Do you still exist? Are you alive? Are you well? Yeah, okay, I'm well. Bye. And this is what it has come to,
Okay.
sadly.
It's like games these days don't even get ruined by being badly designed. It's the online communities and their experience that will you know, leave them hanging as much as it brings them online, right? What what motivates you to play could be the very motivation to keep you away, right?
Exactly, exactly. Because don't get me wrong, I still love Red Dead. I still
Mm.
consider it to be the most beautiful game ever made. I still love the horses in Red Dead. I still consider that they are the best made horses in online gaming ever. These are all my beliefs that I had before OG and that I have now. But I'm not playing Red Dead anymore, and it's because of the bad encounters, let's call them that, and bad experiences that I had from OG. It just doesn't make me want to open Red Dead
Hmm.
anymore.
Yeah. At least you're holding on your life and not letting the game consume you, right?
Yeah, it's just because I had support. I have my boyfriend, I have a family, I have a life, I had uni, as I told you. But imagine how it is, how this must feel for people that don't have that I have, who
Hmm.
maybe their only friends or their only happy moments are in a game like this.
Hmm.
How it is for them.
Yeah. Sure. So I think we recapped everything and bring it to the ending of the podcast here. We can kind of conclude with our final thoughts. I just personally think that, especially if you get big and whatnot, um, these big people have a responsibility to, treat people with respect to a certain extent and not to harm them at the very least. But um, they need to stop taking advantage of their communities. It's all right to make friends, but you don't own or control them, you know.
I don't think G is really dangerous physically speaking. No, no, but dangerous, and he may eventually traumatize some underage girl on the internet. Yeah, for sure. As I told you before, I have a bachelor's in psychology, and I can promise you, I can for sure promise you that these creepy conversations that he's initiating with random girls online could end up traumatizing a teenage girl and change her perception of the world and of the mankind on the long term. I really think that most of the girls that had anything to do with him in the past are so over him and so over talking to random people online
Hmm.
and are so skeptical and scared,
Yeah.
about these kind of people that this happens unfortunately. You can't even initiate a conversation with somebody anymore because she's gonna be scared. She's gonna be skeptical about you. In my opinion, these are exactly the things that are the consequences of G's actions.
Hmm.
Other than that, it's just really annoying how he's operating that Discord server and how many people have fallen out with friends over the dramas that he created after all. It's just sad. In my short 1 to 2 months that I've been staff, he caused so many unnecessary drama and so many fights and made so many people pick sides, quote unquote, so that they lose their friends, and even I am so over him.
Yeah.
I'm sure that it's not a pleasure for any of these people, including me, to talk about him.
Hmm.
You just want to get it over with. I wanted to come on the podcast and talk because, as a message to everybody out there, I really do consider that it's really important to talk about this stuff so that more people find out and more people can be aware of
Hmm.
stuff.
Well said.
But no, I'm not. I'm for sure certain that it's not a pleasure to any of us to still speak about him.
Yeah. And that's why we just like push the word out and then they can make their opinions and then we just lay it to rest.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's going to be it for us today on No Randos. It's been a long time coming for sure, but the secret's out now. A lot of people have been waiting for this and wanted to get both sides. So we hope we could shed some light on G and his community so you can figure out for yourselves what it's like. Um, Hopefully, you'll be able to formulate your own opinions about the situation, about everything you learned today, and really evaluate your surroundings in the online gaming world. All right, Em?
Yeah, I completely agree.
So that's pretty much it. All right, thanks for everything, and we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for gathering the courage of coming on to all the guests, and hopefully it comes out and everything works out somehow. Thanks for everything. Take care, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Peace.
Oh my god. Bye, everyone.
Take care. Thanks for nuking me traditionally. Peace.